I welcome you all to the dialogue on outlook of the security situation in South Asia in 2024, hosted by Pakistan China Institute under their Friends of Silk Road initiative. I think let's start the program with the recitation of the Holy Quran, and then I'll say some opening remarks.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Indeed, we have granted you, O Muhammad, Al-Kawthar, so pray to your Lord and sacrifice to Him alone. Indeed, your enemy is the one cut off.
Distinguished guests, today's event is being hosted in two venues, here in Serena and at the Press Club, Quetta as well. So we have speakers from Quetta as well joining us, but right now there's a press conference going on, so yeah, I hope that they will join us a bit later. I would like to thank, first of all, the China-Pakistan Institute, its chairman, its executive director, Mustafa, for giving me this honor to chair this session. Of course, I feel humbled in presence of my seniors here and distinguished speakers and experts. But thank you so much, Mustafa, for giving me this privilege and honor. I also thank the Institute for taking this very timely initiative. I think with the elections coming up and hopefully a new government to take place, the discussions here, the inputs from the Institute, from this session, would be helping the new government as well in formulating their own policies regarding South Asia and the region. And I think there is a new development also which has just taken place when you organized this session. I don't think that you had envisaged that. So this recent tensions between Pakistan and Iran, unfortunate, but I hope that somehow that will be reflected in the discussions. We have almost completed a quarter of 21st century, 23 years. So if you look back in these 2 decades, this very important region of South Asia, home to 1/5 humanity, remained mired in conflict, in poverty, in disease, and in environmental degradation. There was once an idea of a South Asian Union, but it remains a dream. SAARC is dysfunctional. Most of the South Asian partner countries have conflict when another partner of South Asia, if you look around, the great powers, major powers have been using South Asia and the member countries for their own spheres of influence and to forward their strategic aims. From Pakistan perspective, we have, in the midst of all these developments, we have been the eye of the storm for the last 2 decades. We have suffered because of the whatever is happening around us in the external environment. If you look at India, from composite dialogue to no dialogue at all, Modi factor looms large in this equation. The 5th August step of Modi's government 2019 led to the downgrading of the diplomatic relations, and that still persists today. Afghanistan is yet another story. From 2011, the second Afghan war, international troops being stationed there, withdrawal of troops, takeover of Taliban, there is still an uneasy peace which prevails in our western borders. But there is some good developments also, and that's especially relating to our relationship with China. We signed a treaty of friendliness, cooperation, and good neighborliness in 2005. Then our relation was elevated to all-weather strategic partnership in 2015 during the visit of President Xi Jinping. And then, of course, we launched CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which 10th anniversary we celebrated last year. CPEC has been, many people say, a game changer for Pakistan. It has led to economic transformation for our country. Today, there will be speakers who will be talking about CPEC, its infrastructure projects, its impact on Balochistan, especially because CPEC has a great promise to upgrade our underdeveloped countries, especially like Balochistan. So we'll be hearing from people from Balochistan as well, who will be joining us, what they think about CPEC, what they think about China-Pakistan relations. And of course, then we will also have people joining from political parties, media, civil society, who will talk about their own perspectives of the role of media and the civil society in shaping the policies relating to security, and especially in Balochistan. So here, of course, I will stop here, and I will turn to our first speaker, who is a very eminent Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayyid Saab, who's also chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, and he's also the chairman of Pakistan-China Institute. You all know him very well. He requires no introduction. We have been always impressed by his candid and forceful articulation of his own views. He was recently in China, attending two very important conferences, and where I think he also spoke about President Xi's Global Security Initiative, and that's his topic today as a keynote speech. Sir, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Moinul Haq. You have been a very outstanding ambassador of Pakistan. You served Pakistan's foreign ministry with distinction in your diverse and long career. And I think you followed in the footsteps of Ambassador Masood Khalid, who started the process of the CPEC when he was ambassador for 6 years in Beijing. Senator Abdul Qadir Saab from Balochistan, my friend and colleague, he is there also. Lieutenant General Afzal Saab, he is a doer and a man of ideas, man of action, and as FWO boss, he changed a lot of the landscape of ungoverned spaces in Pakistan, especially building the western route in Balochistan on CPEC and everything. We have Mr. Amir Rana Saab, who is the head of the Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies. And Rana Saab is a specialist on issues of terrorism, extremism, non-state actors. We look forward to benefiting from that. And I welcome also Group Captain Hali Sahab. He has just returned from a voyage of discovery to Andalusia in Spain, Cordoba, Granada, and of course the old world is now the new world in Europe. So, and also the other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are meeting at a time when there is turbulence and transformation in the world. And there are huge transitions taking place. And I would like to refer to certain statements of leaders that how they see this process of change, which is evident. President Biden has said that this is the decisive decade. President Putin has said that this is the most dangerous decade. President Xi Jinping has said that we are witnessing, quote, once in a century changes, unquote. That means changes which have not taken place in 100 years are taking place in front of our own eyes. I was reading an article in Foreign Affairs, which is a leading publication of the United States, an article by the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz. And he said, we are witnessing epochal tectonic change. Epochal tectonic change. Huge. And then, of course, President Macron of France, I think he made probably the most profound statement about the transformation in the world today. He spoke to French ambassadors. Every French president speaks to the French ambassadors in August, which is their summer holiday period. And he told them, and I quote, we are witnessing the end of 300 years of Western hegemony. That is the key thing. 300 years of Western hegemony. And this reminds me, excuse me, of the vision of the great Allama Iqbal, the poet of the East. He made two predictions 90 years ago. Dekh mashriq se ubarte hue suraj ko dekh. See the sun rising in the east. He talked of the Asian century. And then he talked of China. Gara khab chini sambhalne lage, Himalaya ke chashme ubalne lage. Gaya daur sarmayadari gaya, tamasha dikha ke madari gaya. Springs of hope are emanating from the Himalayas. And the great Chinese nation is rising from slumber. So you can see, and that was 90 years ago, before the Chinese Revolution, before everything. That we are witnessing, the peaceful rise of China is very evident. And we are seeing two contrasting narratives. One is coming from the West, which is still security-centric, military-dominated. United States in that. They're talking of a new Cold War. They are having new alliances, Quad, India, US, Australia, Japan, AUKUS, Australia, UK, US, Asian NATO, which includes Japan and South Korea also. They are talking of a NATO liaison office in Tokyo also. So, that, and at that context, China, under President Xi Jinping, is presenting an economic vision, a vision of connectivity. Ambassador Suhail Mahmood Saab, former Foreign Secretary, Director General Institute of Strategic Studies. Suhail Saab, most welcome. We just started. And in this context, these two visions are very clear. Before I focus on the Global Security Initiative, I just want to mention some new realities which are evident. One is that the Middle East status quo has been shattered. There was a vision of a Middle East minus Palestine, but Al-Aqsa Storm, or Tufan al-Aqsa, on 7th of October, launched by Hamas, has shattered that status quo. The myth of Israeli invincibility, talk of Middle East minus Palestine, and even there was talk of this Israel, India, European Union, Middle East Economic Corridor, IMEC, to counter the Belt and Road Initiative. That also, I think, is currently buried under the rubble of Gaza, those notions. So that is number one, a very important element which is there. Then we are also seeing the role of non-state actors, which are now playing a key role and affecting policies and affecting interstate relations. In Palestine, we have seen, because of what the Houthis have done in Yemen, there's a US presence has beefed up in the Eastern Mediterranean. They have two aircraft carriers, USS Eisenhower, USS Gerald Ford. They have a new coalition also, which includes UK, Australia, Netherlands, Belgium, Canada, Bahrain. And the role is also evident in our region, the role of TTP. We have seen the role of Jaish al-Adl. We have the role of PLA, BLF. That is also evident there. And in India also, certainly the resurgence of the Khalistan movement. So states forcing states to act in an unpredictable manner. We have seen how Iran acted recently against Pakistan and the response. We have seen how India has even engaged in cross-border terrorism to hunt down Khalistan movement activists in USA and Canada. So, and we have seen how Israel is conducting a televised genocide, the first televised genocide in history. So this is also an important element. And the third, I think, important new reality is that in our region, which is very volatile, as rightly pointed out by Ambassador Moinul Haq, the security of states, Middle East and South Asia I'm talking about, is now being intertwined with regional geopolitics also. And this linkage, so when we talk of security, we cannot talk in isolation that, okay, these are issues that, okay, we only can do it within our borders. There are extraterritorial elements also now in force. And this is now evident in the Gaza conflict. This is evident in our relations with Pakistan and Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, Iran, and also Iraq we have seen. And also non-state actors, we talk of Daesh, Al-Qaeda. Daesh struck in Iran in a big way, and Iran then retaliated also. So this, the whole region, I'm talking of the Middle East and South Asian region, which is today the center of gravity of global politics, of geopolitics also, geoeconomics also, and of also the new Cold War is this region where Pakistan is located. So Pakistan, its location, its role has a pivotal character in the whole scenario. And it is in this context, China under President Xi Jinping has presented a new vision. And this is a vision which is part of a broader package in the last 10 years. It started with the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which is the most important diplomatic and developmental initiative of the 21st century. And the Belt and Road Forum, which I had the honor of attending, Mustafa was there also, and Ambassador Moin hosted the Pakistan delegation. It had 150 countries, 32 international organizations. In the last 10 years, China has invested $1 trillion in 3,000 projects under the Belt and Road Initiative. And when we see the global landscape, out of 193 countries of the United Nations, 130 have more trade with China than they have with the United States. And out of 193 countries, 68 countries have announced that they will engage in trade, not in dollars alone, but also in rubles, in rupees, in RMB, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, India, Pakistan. So 68 countries. So the world is economically also shifting. The Belt and Road Initiative, of which CPEC is the centerpiece, and we feel that CPEC is the way forward with $26 billion in investment, 255,000 jobs created, 8,000 megawatts of electricity, 510 kilometers of roads and highways, and 28,000 Pakistani students studying in China, out of which 8,000 are studying for their doctorate, PhD, in China. So that's huge. And I think the best of CPEC is yet to come, especially in special economic zones, relocation of Chinese industry. ML1, Mainline 1, the upgradation and dualization of railway from Karachi to Peshawar, 1,872 kilometers, as well as areas of agriculture, where major progress has started already with the new seed technology from China, drip irrigation, and the Xinjiang XPCC, Construction and Production Corps, has been there involved in linking up with the Pakistani side on agriculture also, and then other areas also. The Global Security Initiative comes in the time of BRI, then the Global Development Initiative, GDI, and the Global Civilization Initiative last year. And that is backed by institutional support, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank based in Beijing, and the New Development Bank based in Shanghai. Now, what is the global security initiative all about? And I think the first key element is that security is indivisible. You cannot just talk of security of Pakistan and not talk of regional security or other countries' security. And one country's security cannot be at the expense of other people's security. That is very clear. Then the other element that is very important in the global security initiative is that adherence to certain norms of behavior, certain international rules of the game which are clearly enshrined in international law, the United Nations Charter, the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. The West talks of a rules-based order, but they don't refer to the UN Charter or international law necessarily. Because if they did, then what Israel is doing is a crime against humanity, violation of international law. What the United States did in Iraq was a violation of the UN Charter. So they make the rules, they break the rules. And now you can see 3 countries. South Africa has gone to the International Court of Justice on the issue of Gaza genocide. And yesterday, 2 countries of Latin America, Mexico and Chile, announced that they will go to the International Criminal Court on the issue of Gaza genocide. And mind you, these 3 are Christian countries of Africa and Latin America. So, the issue is not of religion, it's a humanity, and it's about international law. And in this context, President Xi Jinping also, in his speech of 18th of October, at the Third Belt and Road Forum, announced the Artificial Intelligence Global Governance Initiative. That it is not just that security now includes not just military security or economic security. We are talking of cyberspace. We are talking of artificial intelligence. We are talking of data. And that is why in the big summit that was held between President Biden and President Xi Jinping in San Francisco on 15th of November, for the first time, China and the United States agreed on formulation of certain rules of the game regarding artificial intelligence, AI. Because this AI is a revolution for humanity, but it has certain military components also. Israel's genocide against the Palestinians is being committed using AI. The targets they use is AI. Mossad killed the Iranian nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh using AI, artificial intelligence. It was remote control. So, AI has very strong bearing on peace and humanity, because if future wars are based on AI, then machines are killing men. Machines are killing human beings. That is a very dangerous development that you put in autopilot and then. So that, I think, when we talk of the global security initiative, it is very important that is why China has taken the lead in this on the issue of security, seeing it in a holistic perspective. And linking it also with development, as they say, win-win cooperation. That is why President Xi Jinping described the Belt and Road Initiative in his speech as a new platform, as a new framework for international economic cooperation, as a new path, building together, planning together, benefiting together for an open, inclusive, and interconnected world. This is the key element. Open, inclusive, and interconnected world, because, unquote. And that is what we are living in a world of globalization. So I think that Pakistan also, this recent crisis with Iran, I'm glad it is diffused. I think this has been a model in crisis management between 2 neighbors. And I think the credit should be given to the leadership of both countries, Pakistan and Iran. Pakistan also responded because we felt that there are red lines which concern sovereignty of countries, which cannot be crossed on the basis of might is right or arbitrariness. We did it the same in the past when, after Pulwama incident, India used that as a pretext to attack Pakistan, bomb Pakistan, Balakot. And within 24 hours, we responded, shot down 2 of the planes, captured their pilot. Earlier, in November 2011, Salala incident, 28 Pakistani soldiers were martyred by the NATO American forces inside Pakistan territory. And I remember I was part of the Parliamentary Committee on National Security. And at that time, the military establishment and the political establishment decided that this was too hot an issue. They said the parliament should decide. So it was left to us to formulate the terms of engagement. And I remember the Americans coming to us and saying, they said, okay, guys, what do you want? How much compensation can we give for the 28 soldiers? I said, no, we don't want money. We want an apology. They said, the superpowers we don't apologize. I said, okay. We closed off all the ground lines of communication, GLOC, Glocks, supply lines of NATO. The standoff continued, pressure continued. After 7 months, the United States apologized. Similarly, on Iran, I think that this was an operation of the Iranian deep state, the Revolutionary Guards, who have, you see, every country has an establishment and every country has a deep state. So it's not just, when we talk of Pakistan establishment, they have a very strong, powerful deep state, which is actually a state within a state. And this was under the, I remember when Qasim Soleimani was there living, he was, people in Tehran used to say that he is the number 2 man in Iran after the rebel. More important than the president or prime minister, because on the foreign policy of Iran regarding conflict areas, especially Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, it is the deep state, the Revolutionary Guards, Al-Quds Force, they used to call it. So I think this probably, and I'm sure the foreign minister of Iran, who had a very smiling and pleasant meeting with the prime minister in Davos 2 hours before the operation, had no clue that this was going to happen. I think they didn't tell the foreign ministry, or they didn't tell. So it was done at a certain level. But I think it was a shocking miscalculation. It was an unacceptable behavior of a neighbor, because it set a very dangerous precedent for Iran itself also, because Israel and America can do the same. For us, India, it's setting a precedent for India. So this was a red line, and we thought that by the evening, there would be some remorse, some regret, some apology. But in the evening, the defense minister of Iran was almost arrogant in his assertions and saying that, oh, this is about our security, and we'll do it if need be again. Well, if their security is involved, our sovereignty is undermined. So this has to be, and so we did a very targeted, very specific, we had intelligence on those 3 bases of the terrorist groups, and who was the venue, the organizations, and the individuals there. And there was no Iranian national affected, and Iran themselves said that only foreign nationals have been killed. So, but the glad after it was settled down, that sanity has prevailed, and because our side also and Iran side also don't want this to aggravate. Iran is not India for us. Iran has a special relationship with Pakistan. In fact, we were having Pakistan-Iran naval exercises at that time. The governor was visiting a trade delegation to Chabahar. And already, I think 30,000 vehicles come from Iran carrying gasoline under so-called smuggling. So we have a 2.5 billion trade with Iran, which can be doubled if we have the regular banking channels. So I'm glad that this is settled. And I think certain regional rules of the game have been framed. And finally, I'd like to say this also one lesson, apart from crisis management, apart from setting some rules of the game regionally for Pakistan, is that core issues have to be resolved. My view would be that Pakistan and India, we exchange lists every New Year's Day of nuclear installations. And this is part of an agreement that this is our nuclear installations, India gives it. So I think our intelligence and Iranian intelligence should sit down and exchange lists. Whatever, where are, in our view, the terrorists located? Who are the terrorists in their territory? And if they have any complaint about Pakistan territory, we should be there. Because in the past, after 9/11, there were issues. Jundullah was there. It had CIA backing. But that was over because in 2008, Pakistan handed over Abdul Hamid Rigi and 13 of his companions to Iran. And they were executed after a trial. So we showed our good faith, and the Jundullah operation was finished. And now this talk of Jaish al-Adal, because Jaish al-Adal also has apparently the biggest base is in Farah province of Afghanistan, which is next to Iran. And next time we hope that that can affect that area also. So non-state actors have emerged. A new situation has emerged. So the Global Security Index initiative provides that way forward of making security indivisible, making security linked to each other's core interests, and seeking a peaceful resolution of dispute. And that is why China was the first country when the incident took place to offer mediation, call for restraint, and call for resolving issues. And according to my information, China played a positive role along with Turkey in this crisis. So I think that global security initiative has worked in practical terms to diffuse crisis among two neighbors of in the region who are close friends of China. And I think the way forward is peaceful resolution of disputes and adherence to certain norms of behavior based on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of states. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very deep and insightful views on the Global Security Initiative. And I think, of course, you're very right. We can't look at security in isolation. Security is a concept which is very comprehensive. It's not only about border security, it is energy, human, economic. And now, of course, you talked about cybersecurity as well. You also looked around the process of change which is happening globally and regionally. Perhaps it could be decisive, dangerous, or once in a lifetime century, as President Xi often say. But we have to see in Pakistan how we are impacted by these changes, how we can address the challenges around us, and how we can benefit from the opportunities which are arising. Thank you so much again, sir. A slight shuffle in the program, and there are a few speakers who are not available today. So we'll be allocating their time to the speakers who are left. But I would like now to invite our and welcome Senator Mohammad Abdul Qadir. I have the privilege of meeting him and welcoming in China. Where he came with the Senate chairman for that event of
October.
in October, yeah. So we had a good chat there. Of course, he has a very good insight about Balochistan, and his topic is also about the economic challenges in Balochistan. So we are looking at CPAC impact, CPAC importance for Balochistan and its people. So
I add that Senator Kader is a rising star of Pakistan politics.
Mashallah. Senator Saab, floor is yours.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mushahid Hussain Sayyid Saab, known as brain of Senate of Pakistan and one of the best speakers out of politicians. Muinul Haq Saab, our recent ex-ambassador Saab, spent a very good time in China and did a lot of efforts to develop more relations of Pakistan with China. Masood Khalid Saab, ex-ambassador Saab, Lieutenant General retired General Afzal Saab. Thank you very much, and all colleagues. As I am from Balochistan, so I will talk a little about the situation and security issues in the Balochistan. So, whenever the serious concerns of Balochistan are discussed, economic disparity as an oft-cited issue strikes our minds. Balochistan bears the burden of high poverty rate and persistent unemployment. The dearth of economic opportunities can stoke disillusionment and anger, serving as fertile ground for the recruitment efforts of militant groups. It is of paramount importance to address the economic concerns of Balochistan to be able to bring peace, security, and progress to the people of Balochistan. Despite its precious minerals and natural resources and natural gas resources, Balochistan often perceives that its wealth is being siphoned away without corresponding development or revenue sharing, breeding resentment among its population. Access to quality education and healthcare remains limited, constraining human capital development and the province's ability to participate in a knowledge driven economy. However, with will and intent, these problems can be addressed sufficiently. Balochistan's vast mineral and natural gas resources constitute a potent national economic asset. Responsible and equitable resource management can augment the province's revenue streams and employment opportunities. The strategic Gwadar port presents an unparalleled opportunity for Balochistan to become a linchpin in regional trade and transit, propelling the port's development and its ancillary infrastructure can catalyze Balochistan's transformation into an economic powerhouse. Chinese investment in Gwadar's infrastructure, including deep sea port, road network, and energy projects, is actively improving connectivity within Balochistan and neighboring regions. This improved infrastructure is already facilitating trade, reducing transportation costs, and attracting investment, leading to economic growth. Gwadar's strategic location is transforming it into a bustling trade and transit hub. Balochistan is witnessing increased economic activity, job creation, and rise in revenue through trade related activities and services as these projects gain momentum. The establishment of industrial zones and SEZs with Chinese involvement is currently attracting both domestic and foreign investors, particularly in Gwadar. These zones are generating employment opportunities, stimulating economic diversification, and contributing to Balochistan economic development. Similarly, energy projects such as power plant construction is actively addressing Balochistan's energy deficit. Reliable energy supply is already facilitating industrial growth and driving economic activities in the region. Gawadar's development as a tourist destination is gradually diversifying the economy. With ongoing infrastructure development and marketing efforts, tourism is contributing to revenue generating and job creation. Such changes allude a prosperous future for Balochistan that will in turn benefit the Pakistan. The economic challenges and opportunities in Balochistan are inextricably linked to its security milieu. By confronting these economic hurdles head on and harnessing the, the latent economic potential of the province, we can forge a path towards a more stable and prosperous future for its inhabitants. A holistic strategy incorporating responsible resource management, infrastructural, infrastructural enhancement, human capital investment, and regional collaboration is essential to realize the vision of thriving and secure Balochistan. It is a vision that serves not only the province but the entire nation and the broader region also. Thank you. Thank you. Raj.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया Senator Kader साहब.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for giving your very frank views about the issues and challenges which are facing Balochistan. As I told you in China, I am also from Balochistan.
Yes.
I lived in Quetta a long time. I have a domicile of Balochistan and Quetta, so I have my heart with Balochistan and with the people of Balochistan. I have my roots there. So now that's why I can subscribe to many of the views that you have said about the resentment, disillusionment. Recently, Mustafa invited me to give a talk to the students from the Gavadar University. And they were very also frank and open about talking about Balochistan. I recently read an article by Rana Sahab about stereotyping of Baloch youth. So we need to be very, very careful about that. Balochistan is Pakistan, the most resourceful province of Balochistan. And you listed so many opportunities, mines, tourism. Now Gavadar now taking shape in Balochistan, you said about connectivity. I think these are very, very important points. People like you are articulating, and I'm sure that the government in Islamabad would pay heed to them. And we as experts, diplomats, politicians, we have to make contributions to this discourse. So thank you so much for your very important contributions. And of course, I agree with you, a holistic strategy is required
Yes.
to make Balochistan peaceful and prosperous.
With all the country and internationally.
Sir, I also have this conviction. Our Chinese friend is sitting here, Ambassador Masood Khalid, I'm sure would agree with me that Gavadar, if it is developed and if it is developing very fast, it can change Pakistan's economic fortune.
Yes,
As far as our exports are concerned, our international trade is concerned.
yes, international trade because location is very important on the international routes.
Thank you, sir. Regional connectivities. Thank you, sir. And of course, talking about regional connectivity, talking about Western route, we will turn to another expert, Lieutenant General Muhammad Afzal. Assalamu alaikum ji. Welcome our distinguished speakers and guests from Quetta, from Press Club Quetta. Thank you for joining us. We know that you were busy in a press conference, so we had started. Our apologies for that, but we'll turning to you and hearing from your views also. We just had Senator Abdul Qadir speaking about Balochistan and the challenges and the opportunities there. So thank you for joining. जी sir.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, हमारे सारे दोस्त बैठे हैं, शहजाद साहब और सारे दोस्त। अस्सलाम वालेकुम शहजाद साहब, कैसे हैं आप और बाकी दोस्त खैरियत से
ठीक
हैं?
ठाक खैरी से।
जी अल्लाह का फजल, शुक्रिया, थैंक यू सो मच। अभी इसके बाद जनरल साहब के बाद आपको और राणा साहब के बाद आप
Okay. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. So we have the next speaker is Lieutenant General Muhammad Afzal. He's the former Director General of FWO, where of course he was closely involved with the development of CPAC infrastructure, the Western route, has very close eye on the issues related to CPAC and its infrastructure development projects. And he, of course, he was also ex-chairman of NDMA. So, Lieutenant Saab, General Saab,
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. I extend my gratitude to the organizers for providing me an opportunity and honor me to speak on the topic opportunities for regional connectivity in achieving stability and development via Western route of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, commonly known as CPAC. The topic is very close to my heart, being one of the pioneers who did the practical manifestation of CPAC. This topic holds immense significance in the context of regional development, stability, and prosperity. The western route of CPAC presents a multitude of opportunities for enhancing connectivity, fostering economic growth, promoting peace and stability in the region. I delve into the various dimensions of topic, exploring the potential benefits and challenges associated with the western route of CPAC and how it contributes to the regional connectivity, stability, and development. Before dilating upon the opportunities of regional connectivity, it is crucial to understand the security dynamics in South Asia, particularly in Balochistan. The region has been grappling with the multifaceted security challenges, including insurgency, terrorism, and geopolitical complexity. These challenges have posed significant impediments to the realization of peace and prosperity in the region. This involves close coordination between relevant stakeholders, including law enforcement agencies and common community representatives, to create and enable an enabling environment for sustained development. Ladies and gentlemen, China Pakistan Economic Corridor is a flagship project under Belt and Road Initiative. It has emerged as a transformative initiative that holds immense potential for enhancing connectivity and economic cooperation in the region. It aims to connect Gwadar in Pakistan to China's Xinjiang region through a network of highways, railways, fiber optics, electricity infrastructure, pipelines, waterways, which I have added today in the morning, coupled with developed coastal zones. And Senator would definitely agree on my last session, connected to the special economic zone in the area will revitalize the CPAC, what we have been talking about. The corridor encompasses various infrastructure projects, including energy ventures, transportation network, industrial zones, and special economic zones. The western route of CPAC commonly referred to the road network only, thus that runs through the less developed areas of Pakistan, connecting Gwadar to Dera Ismail Khan via Quetta and Zob. Ladies and gentlemen, the western route of CPAC has the potential to act as a catalyst for economic development in the less developed areas it traverses. The construction of infrastructure such as roads, railways, and energy projects can create employment opportunities, stimulate local industries, and attract investment in the sectors such as agriculture, mining, and tourism. And let me also share my experience with you that between Nag, which is closer to Mastung, to almost nearing to Gwadar, the water table is less than 300 feet. And the land is so fertile that even you throw a seed, it starts coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, in the part of Pakistan through which the western route passes, there exists significant socio-economic disparity. By investing in the infrastructure development along this route, there is an opportunity to address these disparities by providing better access to education, healthcare, and other essential services. Additionally, creation of economic opportunities can contribute to poverty alleviation and improve living standards of local communities. Ladies and gentlemen, the development of western route of CPAC also has a significant geopolitical implication. It has the potential to reshape regional geopolitics by creating a new economic linkage and influencing strategic dynamics. As such, it is essential for all stakeholders to approach this initiative with a long-term vision that prioritizes mutual benefit, transparency, respect for sovereignty. Now, I would like to highlight few myths about CPAC in general and Western route in particular. Before conclusion, I would like to highlight various myths and haziness of strategic contours in the minds of policymakers, academia, and common people almost in all walks of life, including our politicians. First is whether it is a transit trade undertaking or it is a developmental project. And unless we have the clarity that which one we are doing, our undertaking would be very, very difficult. I would like to show you two slides on this. Number one, that there is a myth that Chinese are interested to have CPAC passing through Pakistan for transit trade. And in my reckoning, this is not a true assertion. Number one, the distance between the developed China, which is the eastern coast of China, is almost 5,200 kilometers till Kashgar. And from Kashgar, it is 3,200 kilometers from Kashgar to Gwadar. Unfortunately, there is no railway line from Kashgar to Gwadar. And there is no connection of railway line towards Karachi from Havelian to Kashgar. And world over, the transit trade does not go on the wheels. It is the most expensive on the wheels, and it is most viable financially in railways. Why I said that Chinese do not need CPAC as a transit trade, because if you see Myanmar's map, there is a port which has been linked with the two cities which are actually the industrial heartland of China, and only 1,300 kilometers from the port, catering for Malacca dilemma, as well as South China Sea's assertions some of the strategists usually refer to. The second thing I always been talking about is that Gwadar, after Chinese strategy of string of pearls, became one of the pearls of the string in 2016, and the strategy came in 2009. So after getting the lease for 43 years, in fact, Chinese had little interest to build the infrastructure which converts a Gwadar into a commercial port. And once I say commercial port, that includes the infrastructure on land. At the moment, my assertion is Gwadar is only a ship docking place rather than a commercial port. Then इससे नीचे चले जाइएगा, एक स्लाइड है, कोस्ट, इससे नीचे चले जाएं और आगे चले. Now, without development of coastline and coastal areas and linking it to the rear side of Balochistan, any future dream cannot come to real life, because unless you develop the coast, and for that we need to read the vision of Deng Xiaoping while he was transferring China from a closed economy to an open economy. And we need to see the coastal model of that economic venture. I'm just leaving all these as open-ended, and I don't want to give my final opinion on these three things. But I would be open to questions if asked at the later stage. To conclude, the western route of CPAC presents us substantial opportunities for enhancing regional connectivity, in achieving stability and development by leveraging these opportunities effectively while addressing associated challenges in a comprehensive manner. We can pave the way for sustainable economic growth, improved living standards, and greater regional integration. It is crucial for all stakeholders, including government, private sector entities, civil society organizations, and local communities, to collaborate closely in realizing the full potential of this transformative initiative. As we look toward the future, let's envision a region where connectivity fosters understanding among nations, where development uplifts community across borders, and where stability paves the way for prosperity. The western route of CPAC can serve as a pathway towards realizing this vision if we approach it with foresight, inclusivity, the most important, and a commitment to shared progress. Once again, I express my gratitude for this opportunity to contribute to this important dialogue I look forward to engaging in fruitful discussion with all esteemed participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for this very comprehensive presentation on the strategic importance of the western route of CPAC, and you also dispelled some of the myths around CPAC and the western route. I think you very rightly mentioned about the Chinese model of development, especially the special economic zones. China's economic prosperity today owes a large amount to their special economic zone, which is a very comprehensive term, includes industrial zone, goes free trade zones, etc. But all were developed along the coastal belt, as you mentioned. Shenzhen, sir, you have been to Shenzhen, which 40 years ago used to be a fishing village, like Gavada. And today it is a city which boasts the highest skyscrapers in the world, a hub of IT. So we do hope that Gavadar one day would also not only be simply a docking docking place for ships, but an international hub of trade. Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker is, of course, very well known security expert, Mohammed Amir Rana, who is director of Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies. Sir, you talked about the non-state actors who have how they are shaping the policies since in the last impacting policies and the security dynamics around the world, especially in our region. So you will be talking about the security trends in tourism in South Asia in 2024. Rana Saab, floor is yours.
Thank you, Ambassador Moinul Haq sir, and thank you, Senator Mushahid Hussain sir, for having me here and this very august gathering here, both in Islamabad and in Quetta. And senators have already has deconstructed the global security scenario and what is happening in our region and how it's going to be shaped and where the Pakistan can play a role. And Senator Saab and General Saab rightly mentioned that it may be the Balochistan which can turn around the fate of the country and can play a very significant role, not only into the Pakistan's economic development, but maybe connecting the Pakistan through urgency to the rest of the world and to connect it again with its ancient classical roots from Asia, East Asia to Africa. But I think we have to be more practical, just conceiving things in a very ideal situations. It sometimes mislead the policy direction. First, we have to be look at the Balochistan's core issue. It may not be the security. It's not necessarily the grievances of the Baloch people. But in my view, right now, the global and north divide, which exists all across the world, is also somehow exists within Pakistan, and it manifests itself in the form of the mainland and peripheral divide. If you look at from GB to Gwadar, and these areas been neglected, and all the delivery system, administrative systems we inherited from the Brits. We hardly made any attempt to reform except the FOTA, and even the FOTA mainstreaming is still not fully been utilized, and it has its own challenges. I think we have to understand why this divide exists and how is basically triggering the multiple level of the challenges. I would not say the conflict. Conflict maybe is uh, the term which we cannot, which may not reflect my argument. And these crises exist from power distribution, political empowerment, the social structure, and of course, all the non-state actors here in Pakistan, they are the manifestation of all these, the crises which have been evolved. And the state, where it's always try to behave with the peripheral territories like the colonial masters. And it's try to be bundle each and everything. And bundling approach, I think this is creating the one of the major problem in Pakistan. And I think maybe the power elites are justified and to that how why they try to be put each and everything in a one package, to whom sometime is called the comprehensive package, and sometime is come up in the form of the national security policy. And even the national security policy domain expands to the climate change, cosmology, IT, and to from all the population existing, uh, all the challenges. So this is, I think, this is the one of the problem. And my second statement is about the non-state actor, which of course is linked with this divide, which is deep-rooted in here. This is about the non-state actors. So this is, they are either is the Bloch insurgents, BLA, BLF, or is the TTP, or the Islamist militant network. Despite they have the multiple, very diverse ideological backgrounds and objectives, but their core demand is about is the right. And what is would be the solution? So we know all the problem. We have the lot of intellectual resources. We already had deconstructed whole militant discourse in the country. But when we come to the solutions, so we only stuck on two. The first, we need to go for the kinetic measures, which is this policy is going on since several decades, but it hasn't addressed the problems yet. And despite the huge investments we made in form of the CPAC security division, or creating the multi-layered security structures in the country, and if one can count from policing to the paramilitary, I'm not including the conventional military infrastructure, their number increased more than 71. And even then, the security challenge is becoming complex and complex. Again, this may be another manifestation of this bundling approach, that to put the things in a bundle and try to be. So this is and the second approach always remain, okay, let's go and to talk with the non-state actors. We have attempted several times to with the TTP, and we did only few times with the Bloch insurgents. And what is the key difference when we talk with the BLA, and what kind of fears the power elites, the security institutions have. This is not an easy answer for the establishment. Talks is not a very easy task. The reason, what does it mean, talking with the BLA or the BLF? This means that you will have to transform and reform your all delivery system, and you have to be agree upon on the political empowerment of all these periphery zone. And the power elites which is sitting here from South Punjab to North Punjab is very hard. It's not only the case in Pakistan. It's always been hard for the parts to share and to include or to expand the pool of the partners. But with the TTP, what the state can offer, one side, the Bloch insurgents are demanding the rights, the political participations. On the other side, the TTP is demanding the control of territory which it has lost in the military operations. But contrary to the narrative which persists in the public domain is more empathetic towards the TTP and the Islamic militant, comparing with the Bloch insurgents. And this is the dilemma I think that we have to be put more intellectual resources to think about, that where we can effectively use both the kinetic and non-kinetic strategies to address the problem. And for at the last, may I just leave with the question here that 10 years or 1 decade of the CPEC, it was enough time at least to be set the direction of the economic transformation of Pakistan. But we have seen that during last 10 years, Pakistan economic challenge become more worst. And we also need to be to think upon on all these issues. Either it was the CPAC who had complicated Pakistan economic challenge, or we ourselves responsible for all the economic degradation and the failure of the CPAC. And the CPAC, which from 2014 onward, posed as the flagship of the BRI, why it hasn't mentioned in the last summit of BRI as a flagship. So these were my few statements I have to make here.
Thank you so much, Rana Saab, for a very interesting discourse on the security challenges in Balochistan. Of course, the focus was Balochistan. You mentioned about, very interestingly, what is the core issue of Balochistan, which in your view is this mainland peripheral divide. Having lived in Balochistan, and Senator Abdul Qadir is there, I think we tend to agree with you on that as well. You also, of course, as solution, I think you talked about two things, very important things, which one is kinetic, which we call D. There used to be 3 Ds at one point we call deterrence, dialogue, and development. I think development is also the key. I would say that Pakistan has to study the model of China, not the Shenzhen model, but the Xinjiang model. How, of course, Chinese central government is a very strong government. They can do it, but still it's worth studying how they eliminated the threat of ETIM and extremism, separatism, terrorism from Xinjiang. And today, if you visit Xinjiang, Urumqi, Kashgar, Aksu, those places, they are as more developed than the best cities in Pakistan. So we have to look at that model, how we have achieved, the China has achieved that prosperity, economic prosperity for the people of Xinjiang. Thank you so much for a very important discourse. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will turn to our colleagues in Quetta. They have been waiting for a long. Thank you for your patience. So thank you. As you see, the most of the focus of the discussion here, Balochistan tha. बलूचिस्तान के की इम्पोर्टेंस स्ट्रेटेजिक इम्पोर्टेंस उसके रिसोर्सेज के बारे में उसकी जो स्ट्रेटेजिक उसकी अपॉर्चुनिटीज एंड चैलेंजेस के बारे में एंड पीपल हैव बीन आल्सो गिविंग वे फॉरवर्ड आपकी तरफ से एज अ मीडिया आई थिंक वी विल लाइक टू लिसन फ्रॉम यू योर पर्सपेक्टिव कि क्या है बलूचिस्तान के इश्यूज क्या हैं और आप कैसे देखते हैं उसको तो फर्स्ट स्पीकर जिनको मैं दावत दूंगा रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा इज मिस्टर शहजादा जुल्फिकार was a prominent journalist in Balochistan, and he is also former president of Pakistan Federal Union of Journalists. If I am correct, my information is correct. He's also a great
Yes,
grandson
yes,
of
yes, yes,
Hanafullah,
yes, yes.
and he also won presidential pride of performance for us. So, welcome, Shahzada Saab. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
जी जी आ रही आवाज चलिए.
Thank you, Jeep, for inviting me. And thank you, Mr. Mushahid Hussain Sayyed Saab, for inviting and for, collecting a lot of distinguished people and speaking, especially on Balochistan. As Amir Rana Saab, he's a security expert, and he has been visiting all the area, Gwadar, Turbat, Panjgur. He knows much about Balochistan than any Balochistani. The issues, we talk about CPAC, we talk about Mathe ka Jumar, that Gwadar is of CPAC, but I think some steps must be taken. I think some aspect of the situation of Balochistan or the issues of Balochistan, we should pay attention. Like, the insurgents. If we get about insurgents, what they are doing, what they are talking, what their narrative is. But we should pay attention to the people of Balochistan, the common people, the youth. That's unfortunate. The elections are, this is the complaints of youth, the people of Balochistan. The elections, there is no election. In elections, there are electables. They are helped to come to assemblies, to reach to the assemblies, to legislative bodies. And then the PSDP, the public sector social development program, it is surrendered before them, and they are free how to use this public sector program for their own benefits, not for the benefits of Balochistan people. So, like they are asked to come and gather on a platform like Balochistan Awami Party. Sometimes they are advised, they are instructed, go and take refuge in Pakistan Muslim League Noon, People's Party, another party, or JUIF. So they got elected in the elections, and a coalition government after 5 years, coalition governments are formed, and a personality among them is elected as chief minister. For 5 years, again, slogans, promises, but not practical steps. Like I'll mention here in 2022, I think, Panjgur, and there was some incident in Panjgur and Noshki FC forts were attacked by insurgents. And after that, General Bajwa, the army, then army chief, visited there. The 95% people's demand was, please make sure that elections are uh, being conducted or are conducted in fair and free manners. To leaving the people of Balochistan to have their choice in elections, not rigged election, because 60% problems started from this or come up from this is the result of that insurgency and law and order. Youth don't trust these electables because the electables are faces changing their codes, changing their political loyalties, and they come before that and they rule. Then political parties' role, like nationalists. So there are, sometimes they are allowed to, get their choice in elections. Like in 2013, National Party was allowed to go in free and in that manner. So they were helped. It is the views of the people of Balochistan. They got 10 seats. Next time, BNP Mangal was allowed. They got 10 seats of out of 65. So that the main thing is that what is happening on ground. So the governments should pay attention, not paying attention to these electables, which is, I think, that is why reputation of Balochistan is the most corrupt. Elected people, the most corrupt practices, bad governance. So I think the government and Islamabad, they should pay attention to the people, to youth, especially youth, creating job opportunities for them, creating educational opportunities for them, and arranging some educational opportunities in Islamabad, in Lahore, in Karachi for them, skill development, so that the youth should not look towards insurgents, what they are saying. They should look for Balochistan people, for Pakistan. If last I just mentioned, I'll mention Hadayatur Rahman. He's not insurgent. Why he's got popular in Gwadar? Why he's very harsh? Because there is no practical steps on the part of government of Balochistan and their people. So these are the problems. I think if we want to make a successful story of CPEC, development, Gwadar port, Chinese involvement. So we should pay attention to these problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharada sir, for your very important views about your perspective from sitting in the Quetta Press Club, from the perspective of the media in Balochistan, how they look at these issues. And you identified a number of very important issues, especially on the insurgents. What is their narrative? Why they are winning the hearts and minds of the people of Balochistan? I think that's very important that you said. And in that respect, the role of media, it becomes very important in dispelling or countering that negative narrative which is being put forward by the insurgents. And then you, of course, you talked about the importance of genuine elections there.
the issues of youth and the political empowerment, the education, skill development. I think that's a very important point, Shahzada Sahab, that you have made about skill development. I remember I'm from Quetta. I have lived there. I've been educated from there. The Quetta Polytechnic used to be one of the best education institutions in Balochistan, but now it is not there. Not only in Balochistan, all over Pakistan, polytechnics are story of the past. So we need to focus on the skill development of youth, not only in Balochistan, but in entire Pakistan. Thank you so much for a very important the views. I would like to quote from the speech of President Xi Jinping, which he made at the BRI 10th anniversary in Beijing. Senator Mushahid Hussain was there. And I sent you that quote also, that China can do well when the world is doing well. When China does well, the world will get even better. I think this applies to Balochistan also. If Balochistan does well, Pakistan will do well, does well, will do well. So we are today, I think, as I mentioned to you, talking about different aspects of security, but with the focus on Balochistan. Inshallah, most of the inputs which will come will be helpful for the government, not only in Balochistan, but also in Islamabad. Just to remind my colleagues here that we are conducting this dialogue under the Chatham House rules. So whatever is discussed here stays here in the room. Thank you so much. And our next speaker is Abdul Khalik Rind, who is the president of the Quetta Press Club. Sir, you have the floor, and we would love to hear from your views also. Ji,
Not here.
he's not here.
He's not here.
तो बलूचिस्तान में
Yes.
से कोई वहां से कोई बोलना चाहेगा? Anybody would like to make contribution? कोई बात करना चाहेगा?
Yes. Nurulai Bukti, he is the head of Ab Tak channel and very senior journalist.
जी, Bukti साहब, welcome, खुश आमदीद.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
जी वालेकुम सलाम.
बहुत शुक्रिया. जब जिस जगह पर मुशाहिद साहब बैठे हो वहाँ बलूचिस्तान के बारे में उससे अच्छी बात कोई नहीं कर सकता, इसलिए कि बलूचिस्तान को जितना ये जानते हैं उतना ही हम जानते हैं. बात ये कि 2005 या 2006 से पहले मुझे बताएं यहाँ अमन अमान की क्या सूरत हाल थी. लोग उसी तरीके से आते जाते थे. ये सारा सिलसिला 2005 और 2006 के बाद ये सिलसिला शुरू हुआ है. इसके जो अभी इलेक्शन हो रहे हैं या जो लोग यहाँ पर आते हैं, क्या आज तक कोई उन पर वो हुआ है, नेब ने कोई केस कोई इंक्वायरी की है कि जो लोग आए उन्होंने बलूचिस्तान के फंड को कितना लूटा है? लोगों को यहाँ रोजगार नहीं मिला, नौकरियां यहाँ पर भी की हैं. हम बैठ के बात तो करते हैं लेकिन उस पर अमल दरामद कोई नहीं करता है. ये आपको मेरे से ज्यादा मुशाहिद हुसैन साहब बता सकते हैं कि कितना अमल दरामद हुआ है इन चीज़ों पर. यहाँ लोग आते हैं, डोमिसाइल बनवाते हैं अपने बच्चों को, वहाँ जाते हैं. विफाक में जितनी नौकरियां हैं बलूचिस्तान की, उसको आप खाली देख लें कि वहाँ कितने लोगों को, बलूचिस्तान के जो ओरिजिनल लोग हैं उनको कितने नौकरी मिली है और जो बाहर के थे उनको कितने मिली है. हम ये नहीं कहते, वो भी हमारे भाई हैं, लेकिन कम से कम जो यहाँ का हक है जब आप उनको देंगे. ग्वादर हमारे लिए मसला नहीं है. ग्वादर का मसला ये है कि वहाँ जब आप डेवलपमेंट करेंगे वहाँ जो असल नुमाइंदे हैं आप उनको लाएं. जब आप असल नुमाइंदे नहीं लाएंगे, आप ऐसे लोगों को लाएंगे कि जिनको वैसे घर में कोई नहीं जानता है और वो आके बलूचिस्तान की नुमाइंदगी करेंगे, तो फिर यही हाल होगा जो आज आप बैठे हैं. ये फिर आप साल बाद 2 साल बाद हम फिर यही बैठे होंगे और इन्हीं बातों को हम कह रहे होंगे कि जी बलूचिस्तान का क्या मसला है. बलूचिस्तान का मसला सबको पता है लेकिन समझता कोई नहीं है. जिस दिन आपने ईमानदारी से ये सोच लिया कि हमने इसका मसला हल करना है, लोगों को रोजगार देना है, जो यहाँ पर जो असल बंदे हैं उनको इक़्तिदार देना है, या लूट मार जिसने की है उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करनी है, तो फिर बलूचिस्तान का मसला हल होगा. आपके सामने 2018 का इलेक्शन है, आप देख लें. MNA थे हमारे कासिम सूरी साहब, उनका आज तक केस का फैसला नहीं हुआ कि वो जाली वोटों पे सुप्रीम इलेक्शन कमीशन ने कहा कि जी जाली वोट हैं. वो कोर्ट में गए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए, आज तक उसका फैसला नहीं हुआ. वो बंदा 5 साल तक आपका डिप्टी स्पीकर रहा है, 4 साल तक. तो मुझे बताएं फिर बलूचिस्तान का मसला कैसे हल होगा? ये हम बैठ के खाली वो बैठना है, यहाँ पर दिखाना है. चाइना देखे क्या चाइनीज जो है डेरा बुक्टी में नहीं गए? शाहजहान उनको नहीं लेके गया? किसने उनको मारा है वहां पर? किसी ने नहीं मारा. یہ صرف بلوچستان کا مسئلہ جس دن اب ایمانداری سے لوگوں نے حل کیا، یہ سوچا کہ جی ہم نے حل کرنا ہے، تو بلوچستان کا کوئی مسئلہ نہیں ہے، یا لوگوں کو روزگار دیں. آپ جب ہم ایک بات کرتے ہیں کہ جی 1 کروڑ ہمارا بنا دیں، وہ کہتے ہیں یار پنجاب میں 1 کروڑ میں 5 جو ہے شہر ملتے ہیں، یہاں 1 کروڑ میں آپ کا ایک گاؤں نہیں ملتا ہے. تو اس کی وجہ یہ ہے کہ ہمارے فاصلے زیادہ ہیں. اب یہاں پر مجھے پتہ نہیں یہ بات کرنی چاہیے نہیں کرنی ہے. جب پاکستان ایک تھا، مشرقی پاکستان اور پاکستان، اس وقت ہم کہتے جی ہماری چونکہ جو ہے آپ کی آبادی زیادہ ہے لیکن ہمارے فاصلے زیادہ ہیں، ہمیں اس حساب سے فنڈ ملنا چاہیے. آج ہماری جو فاصلے زیادہ ہیں لیکن پنجاب کی آبادی زیادہ ہے، ہمیں وہ فنڈ جو ہے وہ نہیں ملتے ہیں. بلکہ اس دفعہ آپ دیکھیں ہماری آبادی بھی کم کی گئی ہے. جو اس دفعہ مردم شماری ہوئی ہے اس میں بلوچستان کی آبادی بھی کم کی گئی ہے. تو جب تک ایمانداری سے نہیں ہوگا کچھ بھی نہیں ہوگا. یہ بلوچستان کے حالات اس سے بھی خراب ہوں گے. بیٹھ کے لوگوں سے بات کریں، جو اصل لوگ ہیں ان کو سامنے لائیں، اور جن جن لوگوں نے کرپشن کی ہے، بلوچستان کے مال کو لوٹا ہے، اس کے خلاف بھی کوئی کارروائی ہونی چاہیے، پھر جانچ ہوگا. یہاں ایک چھوٹی سی میں آپ کو ایک بات بتاؤں. جعفر مندوخیل صاحب نے وہ ایک دن انہوں نے بات کی، ہم بیٹھے تھے، انہوں نے کہا یار میں چائنا گیا تو مجھے چائنیز نے کہا، اس نے کہا جی آجا میں آپ کو بلوچستان کے لڑکوں سے ملاتا ہوں جو یہاں پر آئے ہیں مختلف کورس کرنے کے لیے یا ٹیکنیکل طور پہ. تو کہتا ہے 200 لڑکے تھے، 200 میں سے ایک بھی بلوچستان کا نہیں تھا. اب آپ اس سے اندازہ لگائیں کہ جب آپ یہاں سے بلوچستان کے لوگوں کے ساتھ یہ 2 نمبری کریں گے، میں تو اس کو 2 نمبری ہی کہوں گا، اس لیے کہ جب آپ صحیح لوگ ہیں ان کو آپ نہیں لاتے. اب میرا بچہ جو ہے اس کو اگر آپ پنجاب سے مقابلہ کراتے ہیں، میرا بچہ ڈیرہ بگٹی میں پڑھا ہے، ڈیرہ بگٹی کو اگر آپ میں کہتا ہوں ڈیرہ غازی خان کا بھی وہ مقابلہ نہیں کر سکتا. اب ہم یہاں پر یہ ہے کہ جو افسر آتا ہے وہ کہتا ہے جی بس ٹھیک ہے میں نے یہاں 2 سال نوکری کرنی ہے، 2.5 سال نوکری کرنی ہے، میں نے چلے جانا ہے بلوچستان جانا ہے، بلوچستان کا کام جانا ہے. تو مہربانی کریں تھوڑا آج جو بھی آپ رپورٹ بنائیں. میں تو بلکہ یہ اس کو آپ مذاق نہیں سمجھے یا نہ، میں تو کہتا ہوں مشاہد صاحب کو جب کا وزیر اعلیٰ بناتے شاید وہ کچھ کام کر جائیں، کیونکہ یہ نواب بگٹی کے ساتھ بھی ان کے تعلقات تھے، تمام بلوچوں کے ساتھ تھے، تمام پشتونوں کے ساتھ ان کے تعلقات تھے، اور یہ اس کو بہتر جانتے ہیں. بس اتنی میری گزارشات ہے کہ صحیح جو اوریجنل لوگ ہیں، جو بلوچستان کو سمجھتے ہیں، جو بلوچستان کا درد جانتے ہیں، ان کو سامنے لائیں. یہ بیٹھنا اٹھنا یہ سب کوئی کام نہیں ہے. اور اگر میری کوئی بات آپ لوگوں کو بری محسوس ہوئی ہو تو میں معذرت چاہتا ہوں. بہت شکریہ جی.
ویل ڈن مسٹر بگٹی، ویل ڈن بگٹی صاحب، آپ نے کلمہ حق کہا، یو اسپوک دا ٹروتھ. اور میری لڑائی نہ کرائیں صادق سنجرانی سے یا سرفراز بگٹی سے، وہ لائن پہ کھڑے ہیں. بہت شکریہ.
بہت شکریہ بگٹی صاحب، آپ نے بڑی بلوچستان کی لوگوں کی جو حق کی آواز اٹھائی ہے. ہم آپ کے ساتھ کھڑے ہیں سب لوگ یہاں پہ آپ کے ساتھ کھڑے ہیں. تھینک یو سو مچ. اور تو بلوچستان سے اور تو کوئی اسپیکر نہیں ہے. آپ لوگوں کا سب کا بہت بہت شکریہ آپ نے جوائن کیا. میں اب ریکویسٹ کروں گا مصطفیٰ سے جو ایگزیکٹو ڈائریکٹر ہیں پاکستان چائنا انسٹیٹیوٹ کے، کہ وہ کنکلوڈنگ ریمارکس دیں بیفور بھی، وہ اس کے بعد Q&A اس کے بعد ہوگا.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to conclude before the question and answer session. I have personally learned a lot this morning. I think it was a very substantive dialogue and discussion, and it was a very candid discussion. میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ یہ جو ہمارا شروع سے لے کے اب تک ہماری جو ڈائیورس اسپیکرز نے جو باتیں کی ہیں، it has been very different and distinct from the regular discourse that one usually listens to in Islamabad. اور میں یہ بھی سمجھتا ہوں کہ یہ جو شہزادہ ذوالفقار صاحب نے اور جناب بگٹی صاحب نے جو باتیں کی ہیں وہ بھی بڑی امپورٹنٹ ہیں، کیونکہ جب تک ہم انٹروسپیکشن نہیں کریں گے، کنسٹرکٹیو کرٹیسزم نہیں کریں گے، اس وقت تک ہم آگے نہیں بڑھ سکتے. تو آئی تھنک دیٹس ویری ویری کریٹیکل. اینڈ آئی تھنک the venue, if I may have the audacity to say, with the permission of the chair, that I think the venue in Quetta was more important and relevant than the venue in Islamabad. اور میں جنرل محمد افضل صاحب کی بھی میں نے پریزنٹیشن دیکھی، اور ان کی بھی بہت میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ کمپریہنسو پریزنٹیشن تھی. اور ہم نے ان کو ریکویسٹ اس لیے کیا تھا کیونکہ انہوں نے آن دا گراؤنڈ وہاں بلوچستان میں پروجیکٹس انڈرٹیک کیے ہیں. और इंगेज किया है, और इन्होंने पहले ही सर्व्ड इन बलूचिस्तान एज वेल इन द पास्ट. तो वो एक डेवलपमेंट रिलेटेड प्रेजेंटेशन, एंड देन द सिक्योरिटी प्रेजेंटेशन फ्रॉम राणा साहब एंड सेनेटर साहब जो हैं अब्दुल कादिर साहब की भी जो है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स द चेयरमैन ऑफ द पाकिस्तान चाइना इंस्टीट्यूट एंड द चेयर ऑफ द सेशन. एंड मैं समझता हूँ यहाँ जो इंटरैक्टिव सेशन होगा वो भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, क्योंकि आई वुड पर्सनली लाइक टू हेयर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हेयर, जैसे सुहेल महमूद साहब हैं डीजी इंस्टीट्यूट स्ट्रेटेजिक स्टडीज, और एम्बेसडर मसूद खालिद भी तशरीफ रखते हैं, हाली साहब हैं. जो इसका मकसद था आज की तकरीब का वो ये था कि विद द कंक्लूजन ऑफ द बेल्ट एंड रोड फोरम जो अक्टूबर में हुआ है, जिसका आपने अलूड भी किया राना साहब, और आपने कुछ पॉइंट्स भी उठाए हैं कि इस दफ़ा फ्लैगशिप का लफ्ज़ नहीं इस्तेमाल किया गया. मैं समझता हूं कि आफ्टर द बेल्ट एंड रोड फोरम इन October of 2023, and with the start of the new year in Pakistan and the incoming government, and of course the start of the Chinese New Year very soon, I think it's an important time to introspect, reflect of where we are headed in terms of stability and security, particularly with special emphasis in the context of Balochistan and the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So that is the main purpose of this dialogue, and हम इसके बाद एक रिपोर्ट भी निकालेंगे जिसमें सारे जो suggestions, recommendations हैं, जो particularly जो हमारे दोस्त अहबाब क्वेटा में बैठे हैं उन्होंने जो हमें पेश किए हैं वो इसमें होंगी, and we will submit this to all relevant quarters. So I don't want to take up too much time, and I think the question and answer session will be very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mustafa, for summing up very, very eloquently. बिल्कुल सही आपने कहा कि बड़ा सब्सटेंटिव और कैंडिड डायलॉग था, जिसमें लोगों ने अपनी बातें खुल के की, और आपने ये भी बिल्कुल सही कहा कि हमें इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करते रहना चाहिए. जब तक कि हम मिल बैठ के अपने मसाइल के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे खुल के बड़े एक दोस्ताना माहौल में, तो हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते, हम सॉल्यूशंस को नहीं ढूंढ सकते. तो इसका मकसद ही इस डायलॉग का जो था वो यही था कि हम एक बड़े दोस्ताना माहौल में और कैंडिड माहौल में अपनी गुफ्तगू करें. एंड आई गिव ट्रिब्यूट to the management of China-Pakistan Institute for holding this dialogue, and all the worthy speakers for their very important contributions to the discussions today. Now we turn to the Q&A session, interactive session, जिसमें आप अपने you can give your observations, you can give your comments, if you want to pose any questions to the speakers here. हमारे लोग दोस्त बलूचिस्तान में भी बैठे हैं, अगर आपने if you want to ask any question from them also. So the floor is open. अपना briefly introduction भी करा दीजिएगा सवाल से पहले, अपने comment से पहले. Floor is open.
कोयटा से एक क्वेश्चन है, अगर ये ले लीजिएगा. एक जर्नलिस्ट हैं
जी प्लीज
जी, मिस्टर दानियाल भट्ट, हेड ऑफ NNI न्यूज एजेंसी.
दानियाल भट्ट साहब. जी दानियाल साहब.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to ask a question. It will include rather a small comment as well, that this particular forum has taken the views from Balochistan and the experts sitting over there in the security situation. Keeping in view the outlook of the security situation, one of the main policies that which is used as the winning hearts and minds of the people. In Balochistan, we are seeing that, and you must have observed as well, because the people from Balochistan are sitting outside press club from past many days, that the ordinary man, the layman, or the ordinary youth, or the upcoming future of this province and the country is not buying the narrative of the Pakistani state, that the state is doing certain welfare or certain development for them. What does the forum think, that what is the main reason that the state or the government, representative of the governments, even the Chinese government or the official sitting in Islamabad and Balochistan, they are unable to convince the youth of Balochistan that the government wants to do something good for them. I would like to hear from Mushahid Saab and the other people from the distinguished chair that how do you see this particular thing? Will be
Shukriya,
able to
Daniel
answer
sir.
this particular question.
जी थैंक यू सो मच दानियाल साहब, आपने का सवाल जो बेसिकली यही है कि जो स्टेट नैरेटिव है कि डेवलपमेंट बलूचिस्तान में हो रही है, इट हैज़ नॉट इम्पैक्ट उसका वो उस तरह से असर नहीं हो रहा बलूचिस्तान में। तो जनरल साहब आप इसका जवाब देना चाहेंगे?
थैंक यू एक्सलेंसी। मैं इसमें आपको 2-3 अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर करना चाहूँगा। एक्चुअली जो बलूचिस्तान में
प्लीज
हो रहा है
प्लीज
आजकल।
अगर तारुफ करा दें।
जी मेरा नाम मोहम्मद अफजल है। मैं फौज से लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल रिटायर हुआ हूँ। मैं 5 साल डीजी एफडब्ल्यू रहा हूँ और मैं अपने एफडब्ल्यू के टेन्योर में बलूचिस्तान के अंदर 159 दफ़ा मैंने विज़िट किया था इन 5 इयर्स। और बलूचिस्तान में मुझे ये भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एजाज़ हासिल है कि जहाँ पे बलूचिस्तान में सरकार के पटवारी भी नहीं गए थे, मैं वहाँ पे गया हूँ। तो असल में 3-4 डायमेंशनल प्रॉब्लम है जिसको समझने की ज़रूरत है। नंबर 1 ये है कि हम पीक और ट्रफ जो है ये क्रिएट कर रहे हैं एक्सपेक्टेशन का और लोगों की जो डिसअपॉइंटमेंट्स है उसका। वी क्रिएट अ पीक। ग्वादर के ऊपर जो है वो 2008 में इतना बड़ा तूफान मचा हुआ है कि जी ग्वादर बन गया और पाकिस्तान शायद दुनिया के किसी भी अच्छे शहर से अच्छे मुल्क से अच्छा हो जाएगा। 2013-14 में भी ये हुआ, उससे पहले 90s में भी हुआ और ये होता रहा है। होता ये है कि हम 2-3 साल 4-5 इंडिविजुअल्स होते हैं, वो चाहे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ बलूचिस्तान में हो, चाहे फौज में हो, चाहे फेडरल गवर्नमेंट में हो, जब तक वो मौजूद रहते हैं वो मोमेंटम और वो इम्पीटस जो है वो बरकरार रहता है। जब वो चले जाते हैं तो वो सारी की सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वहीं पे भूल जाई जाती है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली बलूचिस्तान एज ए होल कॉन्सेंट्रेट करने के बजाय हमारा ज़्यादा फोकस जो है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ ग्वादर की तरफ होता है और कनेक्टिविटी में किसी और चीज़ के बारे में सोचने के बजाय हम सिर्फ 22 फुट का चौड़ा रोड जो है उसके ऊपर कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर रहे होते हैं। बलूचिस्तान 45% ऑफ एरिया ऑफ पाकिस्तान है और बलूचिस्तान में सिर्फ कोस्टल लाइन में इतने रिसोर्सेज हैं कि बलूचिस्तान पाकिस्तान जैसे 8-10 मुल्कों को फीड कर सकता है। मैं 2-3 चीज़ें आपको उसमें मैं आई वुड नॉट रियली ब्लेम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ बलूचिस्तान या जो करता धरता थे, लेकिन मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं कि 2016 में कोस्टल डेवलपमेंट प्लान इन डिटेल्स with 11 new cities, 4 ports, and other industrial zones coming up along the coast बना हुआ handed over to government of Balochistan. ग्वादर काशगर पाइपलाइन सेनेटर मुशाहिद साहब को पता है, उसके ऊपर काम हुआ उसका फाइनेंशियल क्लोज रेडी, नॉट फ्रॉम चाइना बट फ्रॉम द इंटरनेशनल कंसोर्शियम। वो जहां पे था वहीं पे रुका हुआ है। तीसरी मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज, जब तक रेलवे लाइन नहीं बनेगी उस वक्त तक ग्वादर ना तरक्की करेगा ना बलूचिस्तान तरक्की करेगा। और आखिरी बात यह है कि बहुत ज्यादा जिसके ऊपर हम बात करते हैं चाइना पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर, एक्चुअली 2006 और 7 के जो हमारे मुआहदे थे चाइनीज के साथ, उनको अगर हम देखें तो ग्वादर के ऊपर इतना बड़ा एम्फेसिस नहीं था। अभी ग्वादर के ऊपर एम्फेसिस इसलिए हुआ है कि ये तकरीबन इंटरनेशनल जियो पॉलिटिक्स का और इंटरनेशनल जियो इकोनॉमिक्स का जो है एक राइवलरी वाला ग्राउंड बन गया हुआ है। हमें ग्वादर को नहीं देखना, हमें पूरे बलूचिस्तान को देखना है। एक तजर्बा शेयर मैं सिर्फ करना चाहता हूँ, थोड़ा सा लंबा हो जाएगा। मैं پہلی دفعہ جب بلوچستان گیا اور سیکنڈ ٹائم میں بلوچستان گیا ایز DG FW، تو ان کے درمیان میرے 44 لوگ شہید ہوئے. ان 44 لوگوں میں 9 لوگ جو ہیں وہ لوکل بلوچی تھے. تو میں پنجگور میں جا کے اترا، جا کے میں نے FC کو فون کیا کہ میں جو ایک بچہ شہید ہوا ہے پنجگور کا اس کو ملنا چاہتا ہوں. میں نے جا کے وہاں پہ فوج تو تھی نہیں اس وقت، میں نے ڈسٹرکٹ ایڈمنسٹریشن کو فون کیا، نو بڈی واز ریڈی. اور میں اپنے لوگوں کو ساتھ لے کے جب میں اس فیملی کو ہو کے آیا ہوں تو الحمدللہ اس کے بعد میں نے 4.5 سال FW میں نوکری کی ہے، میری ایک دن ایک کیجولٹی نہیں ہوئی. ہمیں وہاں کے انسانوں کو سمجھنے کی ضرورت ہے. جب بھی میں جا کے گوادر اترتا تھا اور میں ہاف بائی ہاف اپنی یونٹوں میں ٹریول کرتا تھا اور یونٹوں کے اندر میں گاڑی پہ ٹریول کرتا تھا، تو میرے لیے 20 کلومیٹر سے لوگ آ کے اس روڈ کے جہاں پہ ڈوزر وغیرہ کام کر رہے ہوتے تھے آ کے کھڑے ہو جاتے تھے. اور کوئی بھی، میں ان لوگوں کی فائنینشیل حالت کے مطابق وہ مجھے 2 کپ وہ کہتے تھے جوڑی جوڑی چائے کی پیے. دیٹ از دی کائنڈ آف لو دیئر. بٹ انفارچونیٹلی اسٹیٹ نے، گورنمنٹ آف بلوچستان نے اور فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے اس چیز کا فائدہ اٹھانے کے بجائے ایک نیریٹو ادھر بھی اسپریڈ ہو گیا کہ ایکچولی میری ایک ٹرائبل افینٹی جو ہے وہ ایک ٹرائبل قبیلہ ادھر تھا. پیپل تھاٹ کہ میں اس قبیلے کے ادھر ہونے کی وجہ سے یہ ساری ڈیولپمنٹ کر رہا ہوں. تو میں آپ لوگوں سے، اسپیشلی بلوچستان کے لوگوں سے یہ گزارش کروں گا کہ الیکشن کے بعد اگر آپ کا سسٹم میں ہو تو آپ کا کوسٹل ڈیولپمنٹ پلان ریڈی ہے، آپ کا پبلک پرائیویٹ پارٹنرشپ پہ 9 انڈسٹریل زون کی جگہ جو ہے وہ مارک ہوا پلان ہوا پڑا ہوا ہے. اس کے علاوہ 2017 میں تقریباً میں نے 4 ملین ہیکٹر لینڈ کے بارے میں جو ہے سروے کیا، ایک پلان دیا اور گورنمنٹ آف بلوچستان کو یہ بتایا کہ یہ سارے پروجیکٹ جو ہیں یہ سیلف فائنینسنگ ہے، اس کے لیے کسی پیسے کی ضرورت نہیں ہے. فار انسٹنس میں انہوں نے یہ کہا تھا کہ جو بلوچستان کے لوکلز ہیں ان کو 50% لینڈ جو ہی وہ ہوتی ہے، کیونکہ اگر آپ نے بلوچستان کے انٹیریئر میں سب نے ٹریول کیا ہوگا، وہاں پہ جو دریا ہیں وہ تباہی مچاتے ہیں سیلاب کے دنوں میں، اور ان کا پارٹ جو ہے وہ 6 8 10 کلومیٹر ہوتا ہے. اگر آپ ان کو ٹرین کر لیتے ہیں تو وہ دیٹ از دی بیسٹ پاسبل لینڈ اویلیبل ان دی کنٹری، ناٹ ان بلوچستان، ان دی کنٹری، رادر ان دی ریجن. تو وہ جو ہے وہ 5-6 ملین ایکڑ جگہ بنتی ہے جو کہ ہم ڈیولپ کر سکتے ہیں، اور اس میں سے 50% آپ لوکلز کو دے دیں 100 ایکڑز 200 ایکڑز کے حساب سے، تب بھی وہ لینڈ ختم نہیں ہونے لگی، اور وہ یو ول بیکم دی باسکٹ، فوڈ باسکٹ آف دی انٹائر ریجن. تو میں آپ سے یہ گزارش کروں گا کہ آپ لوگوں کو بھی، بلوچستان کے لوگوں کو بھی، اور اسپیشلی میں سینیٹر صاحب کو بھی یہ کہوں گا کہ جو پلان آلریڈی بنے ہوئے ہیں ان کے لیے پیسے نہیں ریکوائرڈ. ان فیکٹ ڈیولپمنٹ کے لیے دنیا بھر میں آج کل پبلک سیکٹر کی طرف کوئی نہیں دیکھتا. ڈیولپمنٹ از ان پرائیویٹ سیکٹر، پبلک سیکٹر از اونلی اے ریگولیٹر. تو برائے مہربانی یہ آپ کے اپنے ہیں. ان فیکٹ جو کوسٹل ڈیولپمنٹ ہے اس میں فیڈرل گورنمنٹ تو کچھ کر ہی نہیں سکتی، اٹ ہیز ٹو بی ڈن بائی دی پروونشل گورنمنٹ. تو برائے مہربانی آپ پلان بنے ہوئے آپ امپلیمنٹ کریں، اور جہاں پہ ایڈوائس چاہیے ہوگی ہمارے پینل میں بہت سارے لوگ آپ کو والنٹیرلی اور پرو بونو بیسس پہ ایڈوائس دے دیں گے. تھینک یو ویری مچ.
بہت شکریہ جنرل صاحب، بہت اچھی باتیں کی ہیں آپ نے. کیا باتیں یاد کرا دی کہ بلوچستان کے لوگ غیور ہیں، بہادر ہیں اور مہماندار ہیں. یہ جو پیار ہے بلوچستان کا لوگوں کا، وہ
سر
لازوال ہے.
چیئر سے پرمیشن، اگر
جی
پرمیشن دے دے
بتائیے.
چیئر. صرف ایک شارٹ، جنرل صاحب نے بالکل ٹھیک کہا، لیکن اسٹیٹ کو یہ دیکھنا چاہیے. لیکن یہ جو الیکٹیبلز اسٹیٹ انسٹیٹیوشن کو ڈراتے ہیں کہ ہم ہیں تو بلوچستان ہے ورنہ پاکستان سے الگ ہو جائے گا، آپ ان لوگوں سے بات نہ کریں. فنڈ ہمارے ہاتھ میں دے دیں، نوکریاں ہم بیچیں. آپ کے چیئرمین سینٹ صاحب ہوں یا آپ کے قدوس بزنجو صاحب ہو, یہی ان کو سوٹ کرتے ہیں. وہ 3 دن سویا ہو, فنڈ ان کے ہاتھ میں ہو, کسی کو کوئی شکایت نہیں ہوتی. یہ بڑا پرابلم ہے, یہ میں کمنٹ کرنا چاہتا تھا. جی
جی بہت شکریہ خالق صاحب, آپ نے صحیح فرمایا. میرے خیال میں میڈیا کا بڑا رول ہے اس میں, اس نیریٹو کو اچھا جو باتیں ہو رہی ہیں اس کو آگے لے کے چلنے کے لیے. جنرل صاحب نے ایک اور بڑی اچھی بات کی جو کہ قادر صاحب نے بھی کی تھی کہ بلوچستان کو ایشوز ہیں یا سٹیز کو آئسولیشن میں دیکھنا, ہمیں ایک ہولسٹک پالیسی چاہیے بلوچستان کے لیے. آپ مشاہد صاحب کچھ کامنٹ کرنا چاہ رہے ہیں؟
تھینک یو ویری مچ جی شہزادہ صاحب اور بگٹی صاحب اور دانیال بٹ صاحب, بڑا شکریہ آپ کے سوال کا بھی. میں تو سمجھتا ہوں کہ بڑی آپ نے کھل کے باتیں کی. آج کل تو ادھر لوگ بڑی لوگوں کو سمجھ نہیں ہے, وہ کہتے ہیں دیکھیں جی آج کل تو بلوچستان کی بادشاہی ہے. پرائم منسٹر فرام بلوچستان, چیئرمین سینٹ فرام بلوچستان, چیف جسٹس آف پاکستان فرام بلوچستان, اور حال ہی میں تو سرفراز بگٹی صاحب انٹیریئر منسٹر فرام بلوچستان. کہتا ہے جی بلوچستان از رننگ دا شو. اینی وے بات یہ ہے کہ آپ نے بالکل صحیح فرمایا. میں بلوچستان پچھلے 35-40 سال سے جا رہا ہوں. 84 میں نے بلوچستان ڈائری لکھی تھی. شہزادہ ذوالفقار صاحب میرے پرانے دوست اس زمانے کے, ہم نے سب سے ملاقات کی. مسلم اخبار کا میں ایڈیٹر تھا, اور میں نے چپا چپا پھرا بائی روڈ, اور اللہ کے فضل سے کبھی کوئی مسئلہ نہیں ہوا. ہر جگہ بائی روڈ میں گیا ہوں. یہ آپ کی بات صحیح ہے کہ کال آف فیل میں تضاد ہے, اور جو ایک کوشش ہے وفاقی حکومت کی, اسلام آباد کہہ لیں, پنڈی کہہ لیں, کہ مصنوعی مینڈیٹ امپوز کیا جائے بلوچستان پر, یہ جڑ ہے. دس از دا کور ایشو. جینوئن مینڈیٹ ٹو جینوئن پیپل. میں نے خود گیلو سے پوچھا تھا ایک دفعہ, میں کہا یار تمہیں 25 کروڑ ملتے ہیں, کیا کرتے ہو اس پیسے سے؟ اور اس نے کہا کہ 25 کروڑ میں سے 22 کروڑ تو وہ کھا لیتے ہیں, 1 کروڑ ہے پی ڈبلیو ڈی کو دیتے ہیں, کسی کو دیتے ہیں. تو سارا جو ڈیولپمنٹ فنڈز ہے, یہ بات صحیح کہی آپ نے. الیکٹڈ ریپرزینٹیوز جو الیکٹیبلز, دے ٹیک اٹ, پی ایس ڈی پی اپنا لے لیتے. عوام جو ہے بلوچستان کے عوام, نوجوان ہے, کسان ہے, اور لوگ ہیں پڑھے لکھے لوگ, ان کو وہ مواقع نہیں ملتے. تو آئی تھنک دیٹ از اینڈ آپ فکر نہ کریں, ہم آپ کی آواز ہیں اسلام آباد میں. آواز ماشاءاللہ کڑاکے دار بھی ہوتی ہے, گونجتی بھی ہے, کئی دفعہ لوگ سنتے ہیں, کئی دفعہ نہیں سنتے, لیکن ہم آپ کی بات بنے رہیں گے. سینیٹر عبد القادر صاحب بھی موجود ہیں ادھر, اور اب رانا صاحب نے کوئی بات کرنی تھی.
جی میں بس ایک بریف سا کامنٹ ہے, اور جنرل صاحب نے بہت اچھی باتیں کی, 100% ایگری. لیکن یہ پوری دنیا کے اندر جہاں جہاں پہ کانفلکٹ ہے اس وہاں پہ کوشچن ہے, اور جو بلوچی بھی پوچھتا ہے اور بلوچ انسرجنس بھی پوچھتے ہیں کہ آپ بلوچستان کے ریسورسز کی بات کرتے ہیں, بلوچوں کے بلوچستانیوں کی بات نہیں کرتے. کیا ایسا پاسبل ہے کہ کوئی ایسا پلان بنایا جائے کہ اب سارے ریسورسز تو ہیں, پوٹینشیل بھی ہے, سب کو پتہ ہے, پی سیز جو ہیں 60s سے بنے ہوئے ہیں, کون سا پی سی 1 بنے ہوئے ہیں, اس سے ہٹ کے کبھی کوئی بلوچستان کے ہیومن ریسورس کو ڈیولپ کرنے کی بات کی گئی ہے؟ اس کے لیے کوئی حکمت عملی بنائی گئی ہے؟ میرا نہیں خیال کہ آپ زیادہ سے زیادہ یہ ہوتا ہے کہ ایک یونیورسٹی بنا کے, وہ بھی مالک صاحب نے بنا دی, اس کے کیمپسز اس کو بنا دیں خزار کے اندر. ہیومن ریسورس کو جب تک ڈیولپ نہیں کریں گے, بلوچستان کا ایشو عام بلوچ کی نظر میں کیا ہے؟ اور سی پیک کو اگر میں کہوں کہ سی پیک کو بلوچستان کھا گیا ہے, اور وہ اس وجہ سے کھا گیا کہ ڈسپیرٹی وہاں پہ اتنی زیادہ تھی, اور کہ اس نے اس کا اتنا پوٹینشیل اس کو دیکھا کہ وہ پورا کا پورا انیشیٹو اس کی پالیٹکس کی, اس کے اراؤنڈ جو ہے وہ غائب ہو گیا. تو جب تک ہیومن ریسورس نہ ہو, اور غائب ہونے کا مطلب یہ کہ بلوچوں نے دیکھا کہ ایک اور فورس آ گئی ہے جو اصل میں ریسورسز چاہتی ہے اور بلوچ نہیں چاہتی. نہ سی پیک کے اندر اس کا کوئی کمپوننٹ تھا ہیومن ریسورس کی ڈیولپمنٹ کا, اور ہیومن ریسورس کی کئی فارمز ہیں پوری دنیا میں ماڈل ہیں. آپ امیجیٹلی اسکلڈ اگر ہیومن ریسورس نہیں پیدا کر سکتے تو ان شعبوں کی طرف چلے جائیں, ان ایریاز کی طرف چلے جائیں جہاں پہ لیس اسکلڈ اور لو اسکلڈ کے پروفیشنز ہیں, انفراسٹرکچر بنانا شروع کر دیں. آنرشپ جو ہے جب تک نہیں ہوگی وہاں پہ, نہ تو آپ کا ڈیولپمنٹ کا آج تک کوئی آڈٹ ہوا ہے کہ کتنا پیسہ لگا ہے. ابھی 60 بلین آپ نے ساؤتھ بلوچستان کے نام پہ دیا, اس کو آڈٹ کر کے دکھائیں. تو 60 بلین روپیز کا وہ کہاں ہے؟ تو ابھی سی پیک کا تو حساب چھوڑیں, وہ تو کمپلیکیشن زیادہ ہو جائیں گی. تو آنرشپ جو ہے نا لوگوں کی, پہلے آپ ہیومن ریسورس کی ڈیولپمنٹ کا پلان بنائیں, پھر آپ خواب دیکھیں جی کہ گوادر کا پوٹینشیل یہ ہے, ان پہاڑوں میں یہ سونا دبا ہوا ہے, ریکو ڈکا یہ.
رانا صاحب بہت شکریہ, بڑا امپورٹنٹ پوائنٹ آپ نے بتایا, ہیومن ڈیولپمنٹ جو آئی تھنک بلوچستان کا نہیں پورے پاکستان کا پرابلم ہے.
تھینک یو ویری مچ. میں کافی ساری باتیں مشاہد صاحب نے اور جنرل صاحب نے اس پہ کلیئر کی ہیں, اور میں یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ اس وقت جو پاکستان کا جو سسٹم ہے اس میں ڈیولپمنٹ فنڈ مینلی صوبوں کو چلا جاتا ہے. اب صوبے جب وہاں ڈیولپمنٹ فنڈ پہنچتا ہے تو اگر جو الیکٹڈ ممبرز ایم پی ایز وغیرہ ہیں اگر وہ ٹھیک طریقے سے اس کو یوٹیلائز نہیں کر رہے تو یقیناً میڈیا اور جو ہمارے سوشل آرگنائزیشنز ہیں انہوں نے ہی ان کو ہائی لائٹ بھی کرنا ہے اور عوام کو بھی بتانا ہے کہ وہ لوگ یہ فنڈز جو عوام کے لیے آیا وہ صحیح طریقے سے نہیں جا رہا. اب دیکھیں وہاں پہ جو اس وقت پورے پاکستان میں ڈیولپمنٹ فنڈ فیڈرل لیول پہ تو 500-600 ارب ہی بچا ہے, اور جو صوبوں کو ہے وہ اس سے زیادہ شیئر گیا ہے. ایک چیز یہ ہے. دوسری چیز یہ ہے کہ وہاں پہ ریجنل جتنی پارٹیز ہیں وہ حکومت کر چکی ہیں. اگین ڈاکٹر مالک صاحب وہاں چیف منسٹر رہ چکے ہیں. وہاں پہ مینگلز کی جو پارٹی ہے لاسٹ ٹائم بھی ان کے 10 ایم پی اے تھے وہ بھی حکومت کر چکے ہیں. وہاں پہ بگٹی صاحب کی فیملی ڈائریکٹلی انڈائریکٹلی چیف منسٹر بھی رہے. پچھلی گورنمنٹ میں ان کا بیٹا جو ہے وہ منسٹر بھی تھا, یعنی وہ لوگ بھی ہیں. اس کے بعد مریض ہیں. پی کے میپ جو ایک ریجنل پارٹی ہے وہ پچھلی دفعہ حکومت میں تھی. تو میرے کہنے کا مقصد یہ ہے کہ یہ وہ لوکل لوگ جو ہیں انہوں نے ان کو ریئلائز کرانا ہے کہ آپ اس فنڈز کو اس طریقے سے انویسٹ کریں کہ لوگوں کو یہ احساس ہو, ادھر کے نوجوان کو یہ احساس ہو کہ گورنمنٹ ان کے لیے کوئی کام کر رہی ہے. اور ڈیفینیٹلی یہ جو نیریٹو ہے کہ بلوچ کے اندر کچھ لوگ اتنے یہاں سے بیٹھ کے یا فیڈرلی تھوڑا سا ہمیں لگتا ہے کہ بہت زیادہ لوگ جو ہیں وہ پاکستان کے خلاف بات کرتے ہیں, حالانکہ اگر ان کو دیکھا جائے تو وہ دے آر کوائٹ ہینڈ فل آف پیپل. باقی لوگ پاکستان یا اسٹیٹ کے خلاف نہیں ہیں, اپنے رائٹ کے لیے ضرور بات کرتے ہوں گے, لیکن یہ کچھ قوتیں اس کو ایسی ہوا دیتی ہیں کہ جی بہت زیادہ لوگ اسٹیٹ کے خلاف ہیں. ایسی صورتحال نہ گوادر میں ہے, نہ پنجگور میں ہے, نہ بلوچستان کے انٹیریئر میں ہے. دوسری چیز جو ہے میرے نزدیک یہ ہے کہ اگر وہ لوگ بھی جو پاکستان کے خلاف بات کرتے ہیں یا کوئی ایسے واقعات ٹیررزم کرتے ہیں, اگر لا اینڈ آرڈر اور ہمارا جوڈیشل نظام ٹھیک ہو, جو نو ڈاؤٹ ہماری نیشنل اسمبلی اور سینٹ انہوں نے قانون بنانے ہیں اور جوڈیشری نے اس کو امپلیمنٹ کرنا ہے, تو جہاں بھی انصاف کا نظام ہوگا وہاں پہ اللہ تعالیٰ کا بھی حکم ہے کہ جزا اور سزا ہوگی, تو وہاں معاشرے کے اندر بہتری ہوگی. اگر انصاف کا نظام امپلیمنٹ ہو, چاہے وہ جیسے بھی ہو, اس میں الیکٹڈ ممبرز اپنا رول پلے کریں اور جو جوڈیشری ہے وہ اپنا رول پلے کرے, اور اگر پولیس یا لا انفورسمنٹ والے ایگزیکٹ کرمنلز کو جو ٹیررزم کرتے ہیں یا ٹیررسٹ ہیں ان کو پراپرلی ان کی پروسیکیوشن کر کو ان کو کٹہرے میں لائیں, تو اگر ایک آدمی کو سزا ہوگی تو 100 آدمی اس سے بچیں گے. اچھا, جس کی وجہ سے لا اینڈ آرڈر بہتر ہونے کی وجہ سے, جیسے جنرل صاحب نے کہا, یا جیسے آج کل انٹرنیشنلی لوگ پبلک سیکٹر پہ اتنے ڈیپینڈنٹ نہیں ہیں, لیکن گوادر جا کے لوگ کام کرنا چاہتے ہیں. بلوچستان کے اندر مائنز میں بہت سارے لوگ, ایون پاکستانی لوگ یا ایون جو لوگ پاکستان سے باہر ہیں, وہ ان کو مائنز اینڈ منرلز کا جو پتہ ہے جو کچھ بلوچستان میں ہے اس کے اندر انویسٹ کرنا چاہتے ہیں, لیکن جب وہ وہاں پہنچتے ہیں یا جاتے ہیں ان کو کنڈیوسو حالات نہیں ملتے, اور ان کو گورنمنٹ کا جو کام ہے لا اینڈ آرڈر کی ریٹ ہونا اور انصاف ہونا اگر وہ نہیں ملتی تو بزنس ڈیولپ نہیں کر پاتا. جب بزنس ڈیولپ نہیں کر پاتا تو لوگوں کے فائنینشیل حالات, اکنامک حالات, وہاں کے یوتھ کو رائٹس نہیں ملتے, وہاں کے یوتھ کو ویلفیئر نہیں ملتی. تو ان سب چیزوں پہ جو ہماری جس طرح کا آج کا فورم ہے, جس طرح شہزادہ ذوالفقار صاحب ہیں یا اور بلوچستان کے لوگ ہیں جو بلوچستان کے ایشوز کو ڈیپلی سمجھتے ہیں, ہمارا کام ہے ہائی لائٹ کرنا اور لوگوں کے ذہنوں میں ڈالنا اور ان لوگوں سے ڈفرینشیٹ کرنا جو ٹیررسٹ یا ٹیررزم کو تھوڑا سا ہوا دیتے ہیں, حالانکہ دے آر ویری فیو پیپل. تھینک یو.
بہت شکریہ عبد القادر صاحب, اور بڑا اپنے انصاف के निज़ाम की बात की, अकाउंटेबिलिटी की बात की, which बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। और दूसरी बात आपने सिविल सोसाइटी की जो अवेयरनेस है, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। मैम, आप कुछ कहना चाह रही हैं?
My name is Dr. Huma Siddiqui. I'm from NDU and I'm a governance scholar. I just have an issue which I think we talk about all the problems and we highlight the problem of Balochistan, especially related to low skill, low education, development problems. And then we also talk about public private partnership model. If you have so many problems, the model is not going to work because we are we are like putting our closing our eyes to our public sector lethargy. And if you can't work as a regulator in Balochistan, you can't work as a regulator in Balochistan if you want change. We have the model of China. We see Russia working. They are not really they are authoritative regimes, but they have targets to achieve. They know what they want to do to control the people, and they have focused on that, their energies on that. To think that we will only work as a regulatory regime, the public sector, and solve all the problem because they are such good people, they are asking for help. They're constantly asking you to make the project and turn it over to them. Do it step by step, take the initiative, take the control. The federation should take the control, start the initiative, and hand it over on turnkey basis to the people of Balochistan because they are, after all, not educated. They are low skilled people. They have the terrain problem, they have the geography problem, they have the geopolitics problem, but not as it won't be solved as a regulatory regime. That model is Western, that model is entirely Western, and that came from the West, which is more skilled, more educated. They had the capital, they had the dollars with them, but it's not for us. Thank you.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर उमर साहब। अनिल साहब, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? जी सर।
Just a few things which I came across in Balochistan, and for almost last 10 years, I've been involved in the infrastructure development and financial development in Pakistan. Recently, I have also involved myself in disruptive technologies. So all three frames are being covered. पहली बात तो ये है कि बलूचिस्तान के लोगों को हमारे यहाँ पे परसेप्शन नहीं है। जब मैं 2013 में एंड पे गया हूँ वहाँ पे, तो टू माई हॉरर एंड सरप्राइज आई केम टू नो कि पंजगूर में जो लिटरेसी लेवल है, it was above 90 before 2009. Above 90. 90. और जो मकरान बेल्ट है उसके अंदर जो नॉर्मली लिटरेसी की एवरेज है वो 70 प्लस थी बिफोर थर्ड इंसर्जेंसी जो 2008-9 में हुई है। और जब 2013 में चूंकि चीज़ें बहुत ख़राब थी भुगती साहब की शहादत के बाद, तो वो जो 4 साल 5 साल में चीज़ें ख़राब हुई, तो एक्चुअली इन इलाकों में जितनी आबादियां थी, आइदर दे हैड मूव टू कराची और दे हैड मूव टू मस्कत, और दे आर हाईली समझदार, विजन वाले और डेप्थ वाले लोग हैं। सरफराज साहब ने बार बार एक पॉइंट को हाईलाइट किया है, एंड वी नीड ऑल नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी नीड टू लुक एट अ कॉमन मैन हु हैज अ विजन टू कम अप। और जहां तक प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंसिंग की, पब्लिक प्राइवेट, तो मैंने एक दैट्स वन टाइप ऑफ दैट। एक्चुअली बेसिकली द कॉन्सेप्ट इज प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंसिंग। तो अगर आप डिंक के मॉडल को डीपली स्टडी कर लें या पब्लिक प्राइवेट के मॉडल को वेस्ट में स्टडी कर लें, तो अनलेस पब्लिक एंटिटीज को आप कॉर्पोरेटाइज नहीं करेंगे और वो जो है वो रेगुलेटर के फ्रेमवर्क में मिनिस्ट्रीज एंड डिपार्टमेंट्स नहीं आएंगे, और जो डिपार्टमेंट्स काम कर रहे हैं उनको आप कॉर्पोरेटाइज्ड कंपनी में कन्वर्ट नहीं करेंगे, तो ये चीज़ नहीं चलने वाली। जहां तक लोगों को एक्सेस का तलक है, तो कोस्ट लाइन आपकी इतनी रिच है कि आप जस्ट 2 या 3 मॉडल दे दें दुबई टाइप, which you must have seen a picture while one of the slides in the picture, one of the slide was there. वहां पे I have traveled almost 140 countries. I have not seen white sand beaches and blue water. I have not seen areas adjacent to the beaches इस तरह का. उसमें पोटेंशियल बेहिसाब है. करना आपने मॉडल वो है कि लोगों को ओनरशिप आ जाए, और ओनरशिप में ये है कि आप वन ऑफ द मॉडल कुड बी, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन. दुबई वालों में ने भी तो रखा हुआ है, आप कंपनी रजिस्टर कराने जाते हैं तो आपको 50% वहां के लोकल को देना पड़ता है शेयर. तो यू नीड टू क्रिएट सच अ पैराडाइम वेयर ए लोकल मैन can have participation in one of the companies which is investing there. He has his stake, and let me tell you, he will provide better security than our security forces. तो हमें थोड़ा सा इसको जहन को खुल के देखना पड़ेगा, अगर वो हम उनको अपने लोग समझते हैं और उनको साथ लेके चलना हो. थैंक यू.
बहुत शुक्रिया जनरल साहब. एम्बेसडर सोहेल महमूद, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं सर?
Thank you so much, Ambassador Moin, and let me begin by.
Sorry. जी सर, एम्बेसडर सोहेल.
Yeah, let me begin by congratulating both the Friends of Silk Road and the Pakistan-China Institute for holding this very important dialogue. And I deeply appreciate the views and insights shared by all the presenters, both in Islamabad and in Quetta as well. I think we're all wiser about many of the complexities of the issues that we are grappling with. I have essentially 4 points to make with your indulgence. One, Senator Mushahid Saab talked about the profound changes taking place in the world and obviously affecting our region as well. And I would argue that not only the world is changing, it is becoming much more dangerous. And I think the manifestations of this growing dangerous nature of the world are very clear. On the one hand, you have major power contestation. Then you have raging wars in Europe and the Middle East. You have simmering military conflicts in Asia and Europe. You have unresolved long-standing disputes like Kashmir, Palestine, and others. You have disruptive and lethal but unregulated technologies growing. And you have disinformation deluge, which is all affecting the whole world. And then in the non-traditional arena, you see climate change emerging as the existential threat, then economic slowdown of globalization, democratic backsliding, rise of far-right ideologies, Islamophobia, and then obviously multilateralism under stress, so prospects of international cooperation and solidarity also being very, very severely undermined. Within the South Asian context, I would just mention that the security outlook would be affected by a couple of other developments as well. One, the impact of the Indo-Pacific strategy and the role assigned to India of a net security provider in this. How would it impact regional security as well as Pakistan's own security interests? So I think it would be important to keep that in mind. Also, this is a year of elections in many parts of the world, but also in our east as well. And we know that whenever we go through an election cycle in India, the security threats or risks increase, and the possibilities of France back operation or that kind of eventuality does occur. So within our own threat matrix, we should also factor these things as well. My second point is about President Xi Jinping's the relevance of his vision to this turbulent world today. And I think all the three initiatives that he has taken after BRI, the GDI, the GSI, and GCI, they're all reinforcing a vision of providing equal security, equal attention to security and development. And these are all very important global public goods. My own sense is that in GSI, China is offering an entirely different or alternative paradigm. On the one hand, in the last few decades, you have seen a war making paradigm. And here you have a vision of peace building paradigm. And I think it stands in sharp contrast to what we have seen globally otherwise. And one of the most concrete manifestations of this was the rapprochement facilitated by China between Saudi Arabia and Iran. I think similar initiatives, and Senator Mushahid Hussain also spoke about the facilitative role, or at least some efforts made by China in the developments recently 2-3 days ago between Pakistan and Iran as well. So that is very important. My third point relates to Pakistan-China relations. Uh, Throughout Pakistan's history and also in the wake of changing global and regional situation, one constant has been this very steady linear progress of Pakistan-China relationship. So this we have to really value and see that uh, in this turbulent world, Pakistan has one trusted, reliable friend, and this relationship needs to be preserved and further strengthened. We know that because of the global contestation, global major power contestation, both BRI and its other projects are, among other things, part of a very organized smear campaign also. And the idea is to create doubts and sow seeds of misunderstanding as well. So while we are analyzing these things, we should keep that factor at the back of our minds also. In my mind, CPEC has tremendously helped in addressing some of the key deficits in Pakistan, particularly in energy and infrastructure. Certainly, there are many areas which need much more work, like the populating of SEZs, industrial relocation, and obviously, Gawada's development is critically important in that regard. From this platform, I do want to reiterate what I have been recently saying. China has made remarkable progress in three areas. One is green transition, second is digital transformation, and third is maritime connectivity. And these are the global trends also. So if we can leverage Pakistan-China relationship to benefit from China's advantage in these three areas, I think its economic impact on Pakistan and our envisaged economic turnaround would be critically important. My last and very quick point is about Balochistan. I think we have had very honest views presented by both speakers here and in Quetta. I would only stress on two things, and this has come in the earlier comments also: engagement with genuine stakeholders and local ownership of both the dialogue and the development processes in Balochistan. I think that would be critically important in going forward. And thank you so much for your indulgence.
Thank you so much, sir, for a very comprehensive views on the issues that we have discussed over the course of today's dialogue. I fully agree with you. Being ambassador in China, of course, Ambassador Masood Khalid also would subscribe to what you said about China-Pakistan relation. We cannot compromise this relation at any cost. The only strategic and reliable partner for the last many decades has been China. So I fully agree with what you have said about CPEC, about China-Pakistan relation and CPEC importance. Ambassador Masood Khalid had asked the floor before you. Sir, Ambassador, sir, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं?
Thank you very much. First of all, my thanks to Pakistan China Institute for this very useful discussion we have had. The discussion on Balochistan was extremely insightful and productive and a learning process for me. As far as problems of Pakistan and Balochistan are concerned, I think we all agree that they fall in the sovereign domain of government of Pakistan. यहाँ जो problems हैं deprivation की, political empowerment की, poverty की, और बलूचिस्तान में अपना जो political process है उसकी, ये सारी चीजें जो हैं ये तो हुकूमत पाकिस्तान का शोबा है. It has nothing to do with China. Number one. Secondly, Ambassador Sohail Mahmood has given a comprehensive, tour the horizon of the global situation and the regional situation, and I entirely agree with him. While we discuss, and Honorable Senator Mushahid Saab had also mentioned, if I'm not wrong, in his introductory remarks, that the security of these states is closely intertwined with the regional geopolitical permutations. So keeping this particular point in mind, we should factor in what is happening in our neighborhood. Of course, we all know that it's a very volatile neighborhood, and 3 or 4 days ago, we saw the eruption of this Pakistan-Iran crisis. It was totally unexpected. But we have a situation where we have a fragile security situation on 3 borders. And we will have the elections in India very soon. And India has been making claims on Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And as I understand, for the last 25 days, there has been an unrest in Gilgit-Baltistan on some domestic issues. While we see what is happening in Balochistan, we have this dharna in Islamabad, and the things are lingering on. Of course, it is for the government of Pakistan to handle this and manage these crises effectively so that they do not spill out of control. Well, having said that, so I just want to caution that in run-up to the elections in India, our security forces, our army, armed forces have to be extremely vigilant on that count. And we have this, we all know this contestation between the United States and China, a nexus between India and China, India and the United States, and its fallout on Pakistan's security and key economic interest in which CPAC figures prominently. So I just want to factor that in. That CPAC will continue to face headwinds. So it is all the more important for the authorities here to really redouble their efforts to ensure, after our elections are held, that CPAC gains its lost momentum. Problems of Balochistan, of course, I fully agree. They deserve priority attention. General Saab ne badi achhi presentation ki, excellent, sir, and you talked about myths. There are many myths about CPAC in Pakistan. एक तो ये है जी कि मैं उर्दू में कहूँगा कि जी ये जो CPAC है ये तो चीन के वफाद में है, चीन के फायदे में, इससे पाकिस्तान का कोई फायदा नहीं हो रहा. भाई मुझे कोई ये समझाए कि प्रोजेक्ट्स आपके यहाँ लग रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में, इन्वेस्टमेंट यहाँ हो रही है, पैसा यहाँ आ रहा है, लोकल जॉब्स यहाँ क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, तो इस वक्त चीन का क्या फायदा हो रहा है? चीन का फायदा तो उस वक्त होगा जब CPAC पूरी तरह ऑपरेशनलाइज हो जाएगा, जो आपने एक नोशनल डेट रखी हुई है लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान में 2030 or whatever it will be extended. But right now Pakistan is benefiting from CPAC, number one. ठीक है जी, in whatever way. और जब हम दूसरों को क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं तो हमें अंदर भी देखना चाहिए कि हमारे अंदर क्या खामियां, हमारी शॉर्टकमिंग्स क्या हैं. वी हैव सीरियस कैपेसिटी इश्यूज. और उसके बाद जो पोलिटिसाइजेशन आपने की CPAC की 2-4 साल, उसने सीपेक को धचका दिया. उसके बाद कोविड आया बीच में, उसमें लॉजिस्टिकल इश्यूज आए. तो ये कंबाइन करें ना सारी चीजें, तो सीपैक जो था वो थोड़ा सा स्लो डाउन की तरफ गया. अभी थोड़ी सी हमें तेजी है, बट लेकिन बात की हमने ह्यूमन रिसोर्स स्किल सेट. आप 1970 की दिहाई से वही मैन पावर एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं गल्फ में जिसका कोई स्किल सेट नहीं है. तो इसमें ये कसूर किसी एक्सटर्नल पावर का तो नहीं है. अगर इफ यू हैव नॉट सेट अप, इफ योर पॉलिटेक्निक्स आर नॉट नो लॉन्गर वर्किंग, और इफ योर वोकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स आर नॉट देयर, देन हु हैज एट फॉल्ट. ठीक है, तो ये बाहर के दोस्तों में और जो आपको मदद कर रहे हैं, कोई मदद करने के लिए उसको तैयार नहीं था. मैं तो वहां था जी, मैं तो आई विटनेस अकाउंट है कि 2013 में जो आपकी सूरत हाल थी सिक्योरिटी की, कोई बाहर का मुल्क आपके पास आने के लिए तैयार नहीं था. चाइनीज ने कहा, हमने कहा कि हम चाहते हैं एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट्स, हमारे प्रॉब्लम है, हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के कुछ प्रोजेक्ट करें. उन्होंने कहा आपका एनर्जी का एरिया है, चले हम आपको मदद करते हैं, हम लेकर आएंगे. ठीक है, आपका ये प्रॉब्लम, पर हम आपके दोस्त हैं, पुराने दोस्त हैं, हम अपनी कैपेसिटी के मुताबिक. एक तो हमें ये नहीं समझ आती कि जब चाइनीज कहते हैं कि वी विल हेल्प यू अकॉर्डिंग टू आर कैपेसिटी. भाई कैपेसिटी का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप कोई विश लिस्ट लेके जाएंगे लंबी चौड़ी, तो वो शायद पूरी ना हो. देयर इज अ मिसमैच ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशंस. सो काइंडली बी रियलिस्टिक इन योर एक्सपेक्टेशंस आल्सो. दोस्त है, आपको मदद कर रहा है. शुरू से सोहेल साहब ने बड़ी अच्छी बात की कि ऐसी रिलेशनशिप है जिसको कंप्रोमाइज नहीं किया जा सकता. इसको हमें सोचना भी नहीं चाहिए. इसका नुकसान चीन को नहीं होगा, इसका नुकसान पाकिस्तान को होगा. आपको बहुत बड़ी डिप्लोमेटिक स्ट्रेटजिक स्पेस मिली हुई है चाइना के साथ दोस्ती. और मैं आपको, आई कैन गिव यू न्यूमरस एग्जांपल्स. अभी अगर चाइना आपका साथ नहीं देता तो आप फेटेफ में ब्लैकलिस्ट हो जाते. अगर चाइना आपका साथ नहीं देता तो इंडिया न्यूक्लियर सप्लायर्स ग्रुप का मेंबर बन जाता. तो ये सारी चीजें हमें पता होनी चाहिए जब हम बात करते हैं. ये सीपे. अच्छा, फिर एक और मिथ क्या है जी कि सारे रिसोर्सेज चले जाएंगे चीन को, चले जाएंगे. भाई बात सुने, ये कमर्शियल वेंचर है, ये बिजनेस वेंचर तो है सीपैक. ये कोई डोल नहीं है, ये कोई ग्रांट्स आपको नहीं मिल रही. इसमें हमें पैसा देना भी वापस है. लेकिन फिर भी चीन हर मुमकिन ये कोशिश करता है कि गिवन आवर प्रिकेरियस इकोनॉमिक चैलेंजेस ऑफ पाकिस्तान, कि हमें जितने वो कंसेशन दे सकता है वो दे. जो हमें लोन्स देता है, ये रोल ओवर होते हैं, उसमें चीन हमें कंसेशन देता है. अब हमारा काम है कि हम फाइनेंशियली वायबल प्रोजेक्ट्स जो हैं वो पेश करें. ठीक है जी, अगर हम अपना होमवर्क सही करेंगे तो उसमें आगे की तरफ चीजें चलेंगी. अब ये बाकी ये जो ML1 और इस तरह का ये चल रहा है, इस वक्त को 7 साल हो गए, 8 साल ये ML1 जो है अभी तक ऑपरेशनलाइज नहीं हुआ. उसकी क्या वजह? उसमें भी अगर आप उसको एनालाइज करेंगे तो वहां पर भी हमारी कोताही है. तो कहने का मतलब है कि हमें अपना इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करनी चाहिए, अंदर देखना चाहिए, और कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि सीपैक को हम आगे लेके चलें. दिस इज ए वेरी इफेक्टिव, इट कैन बी वेरी इफेक्टिव व्हीकल फॉर पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. आई हैव नेवर एक्सेप्टेड दिस कि ये गेम चेंजर होगा या ये पेनिशिया होगा. पेनिशिया क्या होता है? एक कैटलिस्ट है आपकी डेवलपमेंट के लिए. काम आपने खुद करना है. आपने अगर सेल्फ रिलायंस की तरफ जाना है तो सीपैक इज प्रोवाइडिंग यू दैट डायरेक्शन. आपने उसको खुद उठाना है, पकड़ के लेके जाना है. कोई भी मुल्क जो है वो आपको हर वक्त इमदाद नहीं दे सकता. हमें अपने पैरों पे खड़ा होना है और हमें एक गैरतमंद कौम के तौर पे खड़ा होना है. ये कोई छोटा मोटा मुल्क नहीं है. इसने बम भी बना लिया है, इसने बड़े सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस को फेस किया, अब तक हम कर रहे हैं. तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं जिसको सामने रखना चाहिए हमें, और खाम खा की बुराइयां और इससे इज्तनाब करना चाहिए. बड़ा प्रोपेगेंडा हो रहा है सीपैक के बारे में, BRI के बारे में, क्योंकि मकसद ये है, जो आपका एडवर्सरी है, मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा, आपको शायद सबको पता ही होगा कि आपके मुखालिफ दुश्मन ममालिक कौन है. उनका मकसद ये है कि इस वक्त पाकिस्तान और चीन के ताल्लुकात में जो है वो एक दरार डाली जाए, और इस BRI को, सीपैक को नुकसान पहुंचाया जाए. चीन के गिर्द उन्होंने ग्लोबली, रीजनली, उनकी पैराफरी में उनको तंग करना शुरू किया हुआ है बहुत ज्यादा. चीन को कंटेन करने की कोशिश हो रही है. बड़ी कंसर्टेड एफर्ट है ये अलायंसेस बन रहे हैं, सिक्योरिटी अलायंसेस वगैरह. उस सारे पर्सपेक्टिव में आपको ये देखना है कि पाकिस्तान और चीन के ताल्लुकात जो हैं वो कितने अहम हैं. ठीक है, और इंडिया के साथ तो अभी हमें नहीं लगता कि कोई, हम तो चाहते हैं बेहतरी हो ताकि हमें स्टेबिलिटी है, बिकॉज वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन आवर इंटरनल इश्यूज. दैट इज द की. governance, economy, development, and this political empowerment issues which have been raised today. These are the key for Pakistan's survival. Thank you very much.
बहुत शुक्रिया sir. Very comprehensive remarks, sir. Being one of those ambassadors, I think the ambassador who, during his time, this CPAC was launched, you oversee over the last 5, 6, 7 years, the development of CPAC. आपके जो views थे बहुत अहम है और बहुत relevant है, and are very close to my heart as well, which we of course have been discussing on many occasions. सर आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि चाइना ने ये जो हमें CPAC का तोहफा दिया है, ये कोई डोल आउट नहीं था या ये कोई एक पनेशिया नहीं था. It was just a platform, it was just a catalyst for our own development strategy, जो हम unfortunately नहीं कर पाए और उससे उस तरह से फायदा नहीं उठा सके जो इसका प्रॉमिस था CPAC का. अभी भी टाइम है, कैपेसिटी इश्यूज हैं, ऑफ कोर्स हैं. एक और चीज, हमारे कोलीग बलूचिस्तान में भी बैठे हुए हैं, बहुत सारे जब डेलीगेशंस आते हैं, पंजाब से आते हैं, सिंध से आते रहे हैं, हमसे मिलते हैं, बस सबसे चाइना में भी मिले हैं, और बलूचिस्तान से भी आए हैं. हर एक आके कंप्लेंट्स ये करते थे कि चाइना ने जी ये प्रोजेक्ट नहीं लगाया, ये क्यों नहीं लगा रहे, स्कूल क्यों नहीं बनाते, हेल्थ क्लिनिक नहीं बनाया, जॉब्स नहीं देते. ये बहुत सारा परसिस्टेंट होता था, साफ पानी नहीं दिया. तो हम उनसे कहते थे ये काम उनका है, ये हमारा है. देखिए ये हमारे काम थे जो हमने करने हैं, वो तो आपको चलें असिस्ट कर रहे हैं, हेल्प कर रहे हैं. और अभी भी मैं आपको बताऊं कि चाइनीज सिस्टम में, गवर्नमेंट में, जो उनकी बड़ी की इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं सिटका में, वो एक चीज सोचते हैं, वो है बलूचिस्तान की डेवलपमेंट. वो हमसे कहते हैं कि प्लीज आप हमारे पास प्रोजेक्ट्स लेकर आएं, वायबल प्रोजेक्ट्स. जैसे कि जंग साहब भी बात कर रहे थे कि ये जो प्रोजेक्ट्स मेकिंग है, वो एक बड़ा एक आर्ट है. और पाकिस्तान अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसमें बहुत वीक है. हमारे एक पेजर आ जाता है कि जी यहाँ पे ये स्कूल लगाना है, कोई उसकी डिटेल्स नहीं होती, कोई फाइनेंशियल फिजिबिलिटी नहीं होती. तो वो जब चीनी के पास लेके जाते थे तो वो कहते थे कि जरा इसमें, तो उसमें डिले था. वी आर वेरी वीक इन प्रोजेक्ट जो मेकिंग, जो प्रपोजल्स होती हैं. तो सर आपका बहुत बहुत अहम आपके व्यूज हैं. थैंक यू सो मच. जी लास्ट हमारे जो कमेंट होगा, ऑब्जर्वेशन या क्वेश्चन, ग्रुप कैप्टन हाली साहब. सर.
Thank you very much, sir. It has been a very comprehensive and educative discourse today. I would, मैं अपना तारुफ थोड़ा सा करा दूं. Group Captain retired Sultan Mahmood Hali. After leaving the Air Force, I took up media as a profession, studied in the USA, and I have authored 13 books, out of which 7 are on China. 3 of them were launched by Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayyid. And this year, 2024, I'm going to complete 50 years of my relationship with China, because I had first visited China in 1974. Having said that, Silk Road, CPEC, these are topics very close to my heart, and that is why I keep writing about them. As Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayyid just mentioned, I've returned from a tour of Poland, Spain, and Portugal, where I was invited to give a series of lectures. Why I want to mention this? Because I don't want to repeat any of the things that have been said here. There's one small thing I want to say before that. In 1976, as a flight lieutenant, I was sent to Dalbandin, which was a very small place at that time. At that time, it was even smaller. Now you have a proper airport and everything. So under Colombo plan, a team had come and we carried out an aeromagnetic survey of entire Balochistan. We flew mosaics for 3 months and mapped the entire territory and translated into which mineral lies where, at what depth, and in what quantity. And all these maps, they exist with the government of Pakistan and the Geological Survey of Pakistan, but somehow they have been kept a secret, and time and again, for a political, what you call, benefit, the information is 1976, and I was part of that team. That is what I'm trying to tell you. And these exist. I saw those maps. I used to fly every day, sir, 8 hours a day, mosaics. So the point is that such resources exist. Both the General Saab and Amir Rana mentioned about minerals, but they are there for you to utilize, sir. Now, what I wanted to mention about my this little tour of Europe was it was an eye opener. I mean, I've been visiting various universities in the world. The topic was quite different, but somehow it used to come back to China to be obsession hai, BRI and CPEC. And as a speaker, in my question and answer, I used to tell them that this was not the topic, but they expected me to answer. So I had to stand there and defend Pakistan. I had to defend China. I had to defend CPEC because not only have I studied it before Xi Jinping came, a week before, three of us analysts were invited to China to visit all. We were first given a comprehensive briefing by the foreign minister, and then we were taken to all the different institutions and even the banks and industries to let us know what benefit CPEC is going to bring us. Yes, sir, you are very right. We as Pakistanis have failed to do our homework. We have even failed to comprehend and realize what it. But what I want to tell you is, and sir, you rightly pointed out, even without naming the countries, that there is a conspiracy afoot. Every third day, an alternate program is conjured, I would say, but none of them have done their homework. And the very fact which Senator Mushahid Hussain mentioned, that if 160 countries are part of it and over 30 institutions, they have not been there on the point of a gun. They use their acumen and do that. And $1 trillion investment. So we need to appreciate that, understand that, and as Pakistanis, we need to do our homework, that how best we can avail of it. Yes, there have been, as you use the word, headwinds, because of our own political problems, because of COVID, because of the situation here. But in a nutshell, let me just close this by saying that unless we do our homework and we make up our minds how best to benefit from it, I'm sorry to say, we will not be able to reap the real benefits. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali sir. Doing our homework. स्कूल में भी करना होता था अभी भी करना है उसके बगैर कोई चारा नहीं है माइनिंग रिसोर्सेज ऑफ बलूचिस्तान ऑफ कोर्स हम वहाँ पे चाइना में भी बहुत कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मेजर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स मेजर चाइनीज कंपनीज एक तो है आप जानते होंगे सैंडक में एमसीसी इज नॉट अ स्मॉल कंपनी इट्स अ जायंट वो भी कर रहे हैं बट देयर आर मेनी अदर्स हु वांट टू कम और एक इशू ये आता है जो आपने रेफर किया ऑथेंटिकेटेड कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव जियोलॉजिकल डेटा वो कह देते हैं लेकिन खाली यू नो दे रिक्वायर डिटेल्स दिस माइनिंग कंपनीज सो वी लैक दैट सो गुड टू हियर कि ये ऑलरेडी मौजूद है and we need to
information जो दी है कि सर्वे है मौजूद I think this is
very important
closely guarded secret after 50 years इसको निकाले
कादिर साहब उधर जाके जरा इसको करें जीएसपी वालों को फिजिबिलिटी स्टडीज भी उसके अलावा भी होती है ना हाँ स्टडीज आते हैं आपको जी मैम आप कुछ कहना चाह रही हैं प्लीज
Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much for this interesting talk. My name is Maria and I hold Masters in China Studies. Recently came back from China and trying to understand Pakistan-China relationship from Pakistan's perspective. First of all, I can see that we have big names in the room and I'm here to learn from their experiences and the information. So thank you once again. I have two quick questions from Sir Rana from PIPS, Pakistan Institute of Peace Studies. First one is what do you think, will Pakistan be able to deliver in terms of CPAC? Will Pakistan be able to deliver to China the commitments that we made in terms of CPAC, given the situation that is ongoing in Balochistan, and we see that it is escalating day by day? And second question is, how do you think Pakistan's role in global politics in the upcoming years, let's say that in the upcoming 5 years? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के कि आप पाकिस्तान चाइना रिलेशंस पे काम कर रही हैं फ्रॉम पाकिस्तानी पर्सपेक्टिव। जब भी आपका ये थीसिस कंप्लीट हो तो प्लीज डू शेयर विद द फॉरेन ऑफिस एंड द आर एम्बेसी इन बीजिंग आल्सो। थैंक यू। Rana sir.
Thank you. I think the global politics is not my domain, and the senators are better qualified to answer that. As far as the security in Balochistan is concerned, and specifically about CPAC, and I think General Saab already provides you the details, the all paraphernalia Pakistan has developed, but challenge still persists. Uh, Again, this is a bit complicated issue, and we haven't thought about the solution yet. So I'm 100% sure about that. And this is the reason that we haven't done our homework. The Chinese are demanding, not formally, but informally, they ask, is there any probabilities that the Chinese and Pakistani security forces jointly develop the mechanism for securing the CPAC projects and the Chinese national in Pakistan? And we also knew that this is a very sensitive subject in Pakistan, allowing the foreign boots on our own soil, either is from our own friendly country. So it's a bit a sensitive issue. And I think, as ambassadors have mentioned, we still have a time to review and to exploit and see each and every aspect of the CPAC and how we can exploit its maximum potential. And security is one. And the security, I think, uh, uh, I'm not, I don't deal with the conventional security threats. But one thing I believe that the security paradigms, the frameworks are changing all across the world. Include the society, make is the stakeholder. Don't try to create fear among the society, either through unnecessarily search operation or unwanted check post. And this was the core demand of the Mullah Hidayatullah and all the Baloch nationalist parties. This could be the one step, the beginning. And we have witnessed that when these unnecessary check posts being removed, security improved in this area and not been deteriorating. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. आप कुछ comment करना चाहेंगे?
Thank you, Maria Saiba. Apne welcome back from China, and it's good that there are researchers doing research on Pakistan-China relations, and I think ye ek input was lacking. You talked of Pakistan's role in the next 5 years. Next 5 years mein main kehta hu ki 3 R's are going to be very determining for us. 3 R's: retrenchment of American influence and power in our region, rise of China, and resurgence of Hindutva in India. Resurgence of Hindutva means the nature of the Indian state is being transformed. जो हिंदुस्तान का एक व्यू था as a pluralist Nehruvian secularism, वो खत्म हो रहा है. And Modi, after winning the elections in the next 5 years, the character of India is going to change. So India is going to be very divisive, narrow-based ideology of Hindutva, which the Qaid-e-Azam had predicted 80 years ago, and that's why he's fought for Pakistan for us, knowing that mindset. Ye cheezein hain. 4 Muslim middle powers will determine the direction of geopolitics here: Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. And all 4 now want to have an autonomous-based policy. 3 of these 4 were very close to the United States, but ab unse distance hona shuru kar diya hai. And all these 4 countries are moving closer to China and Russia. Putin will win the election, inshallah, in March, and he will be there. And he will be there, inshallah, for the next 6 years, till 2030. Xi Jinping has already been elected for 5 years. Modi's sadly coming back to power. Sadly. And inshallah, Trump will also return in America. So that means they will be the Americans. Ek cheez, I agree with Trump's policy more than Biden, because Biden is a poodle of the American establishment. Trump is the first American president after John F. Kennedy who is not a representative of the American establishment. Kennedy को तो उन्होंने मरवा दिया था, तो ट्रंप जो है वो अपना उसका व्यू है. He was the first one to challenge the American generals and the American deep state कि जी, you have failed in the Muslim world, you have failed in Afghanistan, get the hell out of there. तो पाकिस्तान का रोल जो है, we are the hub of regional connectivity. We are the best friends of China. China is the best friend. We're very lucky for that. And CPEC provides us with that role. A greater South Asia is emerging as a geo-economic concept, which includes not just the South Asian subcontinent, but China, Iran, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. Ports, pipelines, roads, railways, energy economy. This new world of connectivity, economic. We are the hub. We should play that role, and we should be very clear. Our relationship with China is paramount. It's a strategic relationship. Our relationship with the US is tactical. And the US has taken two strategic decisions according to the national security strategy of the US, which was announced on 12th of October 2022. Their closest strategic partner in the region is India, and their main adversary is China. On both, we cannot agree with them. So somebody asked me in Washington, okay, Senator, which side are you on, with us or Chinese? I said, we are on the right side of history.
As Chinese always say, to be on the right side of history. They also. Out of the 3 years, 2 have already taken place. Rise of China, resurgence of Hindutva. How long it will take, the retrenchment, that is the question. Sir, process has started. Sir, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
You know, after Senator Mushahid Hussain's very eloquent response, I don't want to, but just on Pakistan's role over the next 5 years, I just want to underscore one very fundamental factor in this regard. Now, we should always remember that external influence is completely contingent upon internal strength. And your foreign policy rides on the two pillars of political stability and economic strength. So as we consolidate these two things, our global relevance will increase and our effective and beneficial engagement with the world will come. So that was the only thing that I wanted to just say.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
thank you very much.
Last comment from you.
My name is Tanveer Ashmi and I am from Jung Media Group and I cover CPEC, Pak-China relation and economy. सर बहुत ज़बरदस्त यहाँ बातें हुई और बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव चीज़ें मिली हैं. मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था कि जो पाकिस्तान की जो इस वक्त सूरत हाल है, जो पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी है और इसकी वजह से पाकिस्तान जो CPEC के 10 साल थे उसके वो समरात नहीं हमें मिल सके जो मिलने चाहिए थे. क्या आने वाले दिनों में हम ये समझते हैं कि पाकिस्तान वो पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी हासिल करे और ऐसी स्ट्रॉन्ग गवर्नमेंट आए कि CPEC के वो हमें सम्राट हासिल हों जो हमें पूरी तरह से हासिल नहीं हो सके? और सेकंड सर, जिस तरह से आलमी सूरत हाल बदल रही है, जैसा कि आपने सारे जो एक्सपर्ट्स ने बताया, तो हमें क्या अपनी जो खारजा पॉलिसी है उसको रिवाइज नहीं करना चाहिए और नहीं देखना चाहिए कि जो हमारे जो 3 मुल्क हैं उनके साथ भी, और इसके साथ साथ जो आपने बताया कि इस वक्त जो आलमी जो सूरत-हाल बदल रही है और जिस तरह से फ़लस्तीन के साथ इसराइल का जो रवैया था, और मैं समझता हूँ कि हमास का शायद ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि हम जब अटैक करेंगे और उसके बाद जो रिएक्शन आएगा तो दुनिया हमारे साथ हो जाएगी, जिस तरह वो जुल्म करेगा, लेकिन दुनिया उसके साथ नहीं हुई है. तो क्या पाकिस्तान को इन सारी तनाज़ुर में अपनी खारजा पॉलिसी को नई तरह से सेट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है? और इसके साथ साथ पुतिन का आपने कहा कि वो हल्ला करें, आ जाए, तो पाकिस्तान में भी एक स्ट्रॉन्ग हुकूमत आनी चाहिए. थैंक यू.
जी तनवीर साहब, बहुत शुक्रिया. 2 सवाल, CPEC और रीसेट ऑफ फॉरेन पॉलिसी. जी आप
ब्रीफ सा.
जी
ये जो आपने वर्ड यूज किया स्ट्रॉन्ग, ये बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग है. उसकी जगह पे वर्ड यूज करें फंक्शनल गवर्नमेंट.
इसमें तनवीर साहब, there is China today, in my view, is a factor for national unity in Pakistan because whether it is political parties, whether it's provinces, whether it's institutions, there is an across the board consensus that China is a best friend, a most reliable strategic partner, and a friend who is always there for us, as he rightly summed up. Somebody asked me recently, I addressed the National Defense University and the Staff College in Lahore about China. They said, what does China bring to the table for Pakistan? I said, China gives you diplomatic air cover. So I said, in those fora where you are not there, China is there for you, your voice. UN Security Council, G20, Nuclear Suppliers Group, FATF, any other issue. Kashmir ka hua tha, how did we go to the UN Security Council? Through China. And but for China, India today would have been in the UN Security Council. China has blocked that. So China aapke saath is there on all core interests. And I would also like to say with pride, we are the one country, and perhaps the only country in the world, which stands with China on all the core issues. Tibet, Taiwan, Xinjiang, South China Sea, Hong Kong, stability of China, territorial integrity of China, we are there for China. So both countries support each other's core interests. And because it is in our interest, it is also in China's interest. And I think there was a problem with the previous government, but now I feel that they also, so whether it's the opposition in Pakistan or the government, they all agree that CPEC is the way forward. And frankly, CPEC is the only game in town. There are copycat projects. Build Back Better World, PGII, Program for Global Infrastructure Investment, Global Gateway. The Americans have launched Europeans. Slogans, not 1 cent, not €1. China gave a commitment, China delivered. They asked me in America, what's the difference between China and America in support? I said, China, when it says what it means, it does it. I said, you gave a commitment of ROZs, reconstruction opportunities. You gave a commitment, you will do this for development of Balochistan. Nothing happened. So there is this thing. So the Americans criticize China, but they also are copycat programs of China. And about political stability, वो 8 के बाद आपसे बात करेंगे.
Chinese political, diplomatic, economic support is unquantifiable. It is priceless. जी मैं एक चीज वो कमेंट कर दूं, आपका वो जहन में था जो आप बात कर रहे थे, फ्लैगशिप प्रोजेक्ट सीपैक, आज जिक्र नहीं आया उसका इस दफा BRI के डॉक्यूमेंट में. वो फ्लैगशिप प्रोजेक्ट ये डिफरेंट एडजेक्टिव्स चाइनीज यूज करते रहे हैं. उन्होंने पहले फ्लैगशिप कहते थे, फिर हाई क्वालिटी डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन प्रोजेक्ट, फिर पायनियरिंग प्रोजेक्ट. तो अब जो हमने ज्वाइंट स्टेटमेंट में यूज किया था, दैट वाज एन एग्जाम्पलरी प्रोजेक्ट. आई थिंक जी इट्स एन इवन मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर वर्ड, एग्जाम्पलरी प्रोजेक्ट ऑफ सीपैक. हम हाँ नहीं, जो ज्वाइंट स्टेटमेंट हुआ है ना प्राइम मिनिस्टर के विजिट का, चाइना पाकिस्तान ज्वाइंट स्टेटमेंट पर, उसमें ये आया. जी आप कुछ कहना चाहते?
सर मैं एक छोटा सा पॉइंट बताना चाह रहा था. हैविंग सर्व्ड इन द एयर फोर्स एंड आल्सो नाउ ए डिफेंस एंड सिक्योरिटी एनालिस्ट, वी हैव बीन गेटिंग वेस्टर्न arms ammunition from USA, from France, from Britain, from Sweden, and so many other countries, and obviously from China. The difference is that with the others, we only buy the equipment, and with that, of course, there are a lot of strings attached. Contrarily, with China, they are willing to exchange with us and share with us transfer of technology. The only country in the world. We must remember that, sir.
Well, very good point. Thank you, sir. I think the time has come to now go to the closing of the session, which is, I think, we have been very engrossing, very learning, very knowledgeable. We all are today very informed people about the security dimension, dynamics, outlook of South Asia, global China-Pakistan relations, CPEC, and importance of Balochistan in all this debate. बड़ा important point जो I think Ambassador Suhail Mahmood ने बताया था, giving the जो scenario है, global scenario, जो challenges हैं around the world, उसमें जो एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट है पाकिस्तान का जो बड़ा चैलेंजिंग है और यूज द वर्ड डेंजरस, जैसे प्यूटन ने भी कहा बड़ा डेंजरस, आपने मेंशन किया डेंजरस डेकेड, तो ये एक we need to think कि ये जो external environment is getting hot. What about the internal environment? Internally, we are, in my view, हम अपनी 70 साल की तारीख में weakest हैं, socially, economically, security wise. तो ये बहुत सारे challenges हैं, बड़े इस पे deeply सोचना पड़ेगा हम सबको मिलके. अगर हम ये कहते हैं कि आज हम खड़े हैं, ये हमारा एक कलेक्टिव फेलियर है, तो अगर हमने आगे निकल चलना है तो एक कलेक्टिवली काम करना होगा हम सबको, सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, सारे प्रोविंसेस को, सिविल सोसाइटी को, बिजनेस कम्युनिटी को, मीडिया को, हमें मिल के आगे चलना होगा. एंड आई होप दैट टुडेज सेशन will give us this urgency. There is no time, we can't lose our time. हमें एक war footing पे इस मुल्क को आगे लेके चलना है. I'm sure the discussions today, the recommendations, the insight will help the policy makers to that direction. Once again, thank you so much to all the worthy colleagues.
क्वेटा वालों को शुक्रिया, स्पेशली शहजादा जुल्फिकार साहब, बुख्ती साहब, दानियाल भट्ट साहब और बाकी साथी हैं. आपने जो इनपुट दिया, खुल के टिका के कलमा हक भी कहा, सच बात की और हमें रहनुमाई भी हमारी की, तो इंशाल्लाह आपकी आवाज पहुंचेगी जहां पॉलिसीज फ्रेम होती हैं. थैंक यू फॉर योर पार्टिसिपेशन एंड थैंक यू टू द क्वेटा प्रेस क्लब आल्सो. और हमारे बहुत पुराने दोस्त भी हैं, साथी हैं सारे, उनका शुक्रिया अदा करना है मैंने.
Welcome
थैंक
ji,
यू टू द
welcome.
चेयर
बहुत
आल्सो,
शुक्रिया, बहुत शुक्रिया.
चेयर मोइनुल हक साहब फॉर द
Thank you for this honor and privilege, sir. And final announcement, we'll have a group photo outside.
and lunch at Zamana.
Oh, that's important.
Food for thought के बाद food आना चाहिए ना.
The actual food, food for stomach. So thank you so much. And Balochistan, thank you. Bye bye. Khuda Hafiz.
We'll fax you the saji there, don't worry.